The era of metal has begun, and metal shall prevail. For we know what they have done. 5 legends of our realm who sought to follow the path of their dark musings. But they did not know what they had summoned. Pentakill. To these creatures, there is but one thing left to do. Heavy metal.
Approaching our gates, we cannot Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after seeing Cerberus Esports take over Percent Esports in a 2-0 victory. We're now moving on to our second series of the day, and absolutely the series we've all been waiting for, namely Flash v GAM, first v second, first place on the line for both squads here, sat at 9-2. Gents, I cannot begin to tell you how excited I am. Vinny, just run me through how important this matchup is.
So, yeah, we have the first place match. Both teams equal in series score. The only reason Flash is technically ahead is they won that last match, and that wasn't GAM at full capacity. That was GAM with subs. So this is going to be the first proper clash between these teams, and I'm so excited for this. We have some of the best players in the league in pretty much every position. Very excited.
Flash are on a 9-win streak. GAM are on a 6. Both are 9-2. Nymera, tell me a little bit about Flash. What are you expecting to see out of this squad?
I mean, so currently they are the reigning champions. They won in spring. They went to the mid-season, mid-season cup between the VCS. Yeah, they both did. They did, yes. But they went there as the first seed, and they did make it through the finals, unfortunately falling down to Talent in that finals. But Flash, of course, they had that little bit of a rocky start, and Cerberus went off to the undefeated lead, and then Flash have bounced back with absolute aplomb. They seem to be, I would say, the best macro team in the VCS right now. They seem to really understand what they can do across the map, and I think that they are not one to completely fall behind the individual skill of GAM, but we'll see how that comes out today.
And on the other side, though, Vinny, tell me a little bit more about GAM. What do you expect to see out of this squad? And their recent return of form, having taken down Cerberus well, since their takedown.
Well, GAM, I mean, their top side is undoubtedly the best in the league. You have the best top laner, you have the best jungler, you have top 2 mid laner. 𝗀𝗃𝗃 has made a very strong case for himself, but with 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗏 still a mechanical monster, and their bot lane not slouching. 𝗚𝗔𝗆 has really sneakily made himself one of the best data carries in the region, and Slay is absolutely killing it in support. Best, probably in my opinion, the best support we have. So just across the board, insane skill, and they finally got macro. This is insane.
Terrifying thoughts.
It's a terrifying thought. 2 terrifying thoughts: GAM with a bot lane and macro. It's so strong.
Yeah, we're gonna take a little bit of some stats that's got thrown at us by Yulwei as well. Who's been doing a little bit of stat work in the background, and a couple interesting ones I want to pull out for you guys. Namely, that if you are afraid of blood, ladies and gentlemen, maybe now is the time to turn off the stream, because we have the 2 highest combined kills per minute squads in the whole of the VCS. It is.
You're misreading that.
Misreading that is what I'm doing.
Absolutely do not.
We absolutely do not, is in fact. So I have misread that.
7th and 4th.
I read the second half of the sentence and not the first half correctly. So some slightly slower combined kills per minute squads, actually.
Not to say that these teams aren't bloodthirsty. Particularly GAM. They are if GAM are given the opportunity to fight, they do go for it. They are very much a team to put some priority and a lot of trust in how they go about team fights.
Yeah, I mean, this has been one of the lightest, one of the light splits that has been the lightest on kills. GAM is sitting at 4th with 0.93 combined kills per minute in their games, and yeah, but on the other hand, Flash is the 2nd lowest at 0.84. So still a high number of kills per minute.
That's
for the global
frankly.
statistic,
compared to the world, and they're the 2nd lowest. So there will be blood. I mean, you come here for blood. That last series was not indicative of this region at all.
Right.
So yeah.
Now let's instead focus in a little bit here, dial in a little bit. Where exactly do you want to be focusing? What lanes and matchups are you guys most interested in? Vinny, I'll throw this to you as you're kind of the resident VCS.
He's got the context.
So mid lane is absolutely the most exciting. 𝗃𝗃𝗃 last split was undisputedly the best player. He had 39 solo kills across the split regular season.
That's
and
fairly impressive.
He was just a mechanical beast. 𝗀𝗃𝗃 was this more supportive mid laner. But this split, 𝗀𝗃𝗃 has stepped up massively. He is probably the main carry on this team, and he is making a very strong case to be the #1 mid laner. If he can beat 𝗃𝗃𝗃 here, he can absolutely prove it.
And the thing for me about this mid lane matchup is look at the amount of look at how large the champion pools are. Look at how many champions have only been played once, importantly for me too, because that shows that these guys are willing to pull out something a little bit strange on stage, which they haven't shown before. I mean, let's have a look at the champion pools for each one. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's like 12 picks per mid laner. And this is while we have 𝗃𝗃𝗃 being this guy who has played so much Lucian, so much Jace. He has the picks he goes towards, but it's not like he can't dig a little deeper into the 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 himself.
Okay, dig a little into the 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃. We're kind of hoping for a bit of a 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃, and I suppose we kind of left it to post-draft, sort of allow you guys to sort of see what your thoughts would be after you'd seen what the drafts would be. I don't want to allow you to do that this time. I want to know, before we get anywhere near draft phase, who are you favoring in this most important of?
Yeah, Mary, you go first. I'm on the graphic.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I think that Flash have looked really, really strong. Don't get me wrong. And I know that there were some comments in their last series from Everyday and Yulwei saying, hey, if they play like this, then even GAM can't beat them. I still have trust in GAM. I think that the laning phase goes a long way to putting Flash into an awkward spot, because the early game has not always been the most solid part of their play, and I think that GAM right now are also skirmishing very effectively, and that's a big telling. That's a good litmus test for how good GAM are at the moment.
Your thoughts, Vinny? Graphic aside, let's hear your actual words.
Okay, so I made this graphic was made at the start of the week, and I was like, yeah, I don't think Flash are going to be good enough. I don't think their macro is at that next level where you can completely count out individual matchups. Their macro they showed in their last match has almost convinced me. The way they played around EVOS, who is also a mechanically very strong team. Like, they've got 𝗬𝗏, they've got 𝗬𝗺, really strong players. It made me go, actually, maybe they have a chance. So, in a way, my head is telling me Flash will probably take this, but my gut reaction is still GAM. So that's it. I'm just going off instinct, which is what GAM does. So,
all right. So we've got tentative GAM predictions on the desk. Whether or not that will prove true, of course, we'll have to wait to get into game to see how that works out. But we've been talking a lot about team strengths here. Where are you expecting Flash to be attacking GAM and vice versa? What weaknesses do you think could be exposed, or would it be looked to be exploited here, Nightmare?
So I don't think that GAM have necessarily a weak spot. I know there are some opinions about 𝗬𝗏. I'm genuinely pretty okay with this guy. I think he is very good at staying alive in fights where he's been hard focused. But I do think he will be hard focused this series. I think that 𝗬𝗏 has been very good on the side of Flash. I think this guy is worth his salt. And so I think that bot lane potentially if going to try and break open, because we know that GAM's top side is so strong. We know that. They were the winning top side in spring as well. In spring for a lot of that time as well. These guys are just very, very competent players. 𝗬𝗏 and Slay, I think they are also very good at that skirmish style of play. But if you shut them down early, well, let's see what happens first.
And vice versa, Vinny. Where do you think GAM will be looking to try and find their advantages? What things can they try and pull apart?
So there are two ways GAM can really go about this. They can try and shut down the major strength of Flash, which is their bot lane. If you can shut 𝗬𝗏 down, he has had interesting priority. He has not gone for that Caitlyn at all. He doesn't really like those super lane dominant champions, it seems, because he would rather just scale and get the best late game scaling for himself so he can carry late game team fights. So they could just go for that and just try and shut him down. Or they can try and punish Yoshino, who was out for a long time with illness, who has come back, and he's still a little bit rusty. I mean, he's shown decent form recently, but up against 𝗬𝗏, and if you go into the jungle as well, the rookie ego should not match up into 𝗬𝗏 very well. 𝗬𝗏 has been insane, especially these past couple of series.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the Saigon Buffalo. Look at the farm numbers which 𝗬𝗏 gets. Just look at it. Go look.
Yeah, I mean,
poor old Froggy.
Not even just the Saigon Buffalo games. The matches against %, he was putting out almost flame horizoning on Lee Sin.
Yeah.
That's
you don't do that.
That is
That's
very
not right.
impressive. Things that should not be done on Lee Sin. Yeah. Okay. So let's instead. I know you kind of touched on it a little bit there in your point, but you said there've been some slightly unusual priorities in draft for AD carries, but sometimes for squads as a whole. Vinny, where are you kind of expecting priorities to lie in draft? Actually, what champions are you expecting to be at the top end of this priority spectrum?
So, one that you're probably going to be looking at is high priority on the Renekton for 𝗬𝗏. It's something that they can just leave him on and he'll get so many advantages just by himself. Whereas, I mean, you're going to have the AP junglers for
that's
Levi.
Those will twins up really well with something like Nidalee if he wants to pick that.
Yeah, he'll be able to pick up Karthus, Nidalee, and that'll tie really well into the the ADCs that Deal1 is going to want to play. But So
Yeah,
on that side,
definitely
we're going to see
saw-
a lot of.
Definitely saw the 𝗁𝗃 come out the last time from GAM in the jungle.
You can almost
when I was here
you
the
can
last time.
almost 100% predict what GAM is going to draft. They are very predictable, but they have so many backups
But the question is,
for
what can you
those
do
picks.
about it?
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the same 5 champions. It's just the same 5 roles every time.
Sure, I get you. And Chimera, any other thing else you want to kind of pull our eyes to? Anything we should be watching out for? More Lilia?
Ooh, Lilia. I mean, I'm pretty sure these players will be practicing that. Whether it's going to turn up in the draft today, that's a good question.
I would not
do
be
think
surprised
that
to see it banned.
I do think that Lilia is good versus multiple AD carry competitions. I do think she is. So I think that with someone like DL1 that does play that, a lot of ADCs play stuff like Jay, Solution, Trist. Jay's obviously not the ADC, but you get what I mean. I think that there is a strong chance we do get a draft which will allow for that.
Well, we're into that draft phase right now. GAM on the blue side, Team Flash on the red, and we'll have to see whether your predictions about the game and the draft will actually play out. And look at that, the Renekton ban. You said it would be a priority for 𝗂𝗃. He's not going to get the.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's by far his most played champion at 9 picks. So the Caitlyn ban, giving respect to 𝗬𝗎𝗇, unless we see something interesting coming out of GAM where they have give it to Dia or something weird like that. I don't know. So a bit of a Dia ban there. So it's hard to say what GAM picks first right now. I would imagine Ashe or something simple like that.
Unless they...
Going
Okay,
towards the
Pantheon is something
Pantheon.
that they've used in support a lot.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah, it has been locked in. It is absolutely a VCS support thing, but we can see it flex around still a little bit. On the other side, though, it will be the Volibear. We've seen this as a red 1 pick quite a number of times over recent weeks and patches. Will be locked in, is of course flexible, but I know Vinnie has already waxed lyrical about how he does not rate the Volibear in the top lane and would want to see that in the jungle. Ezreal is the immediate lock-in.
I expect the
But,
Caitlyn ban.
No, of course the Caitlyn is banned, but there's still room for something like the Ashe here to come out.
There is. Or something like a Jhin. I don't know exactly what GAM are really going to prioritize, because you see this Volibear and Ezreal, you know they're going to go for like those 2-item teams, 2-item power spikes. Who's really good at also that kind of time when you can get yourself those early lethality spikes? It is the Jace, it is a flex pick, but you know it's going to deal on. And the Ashe indeed put into the Ezreal.
That's a lot of pick and a lot of burst to follow up that pick. I want to be fighting around those 1-2 item spikes, as Chimera was suggesting. Flash now have to come up with their last pick on this first half of the draft phase here. What are you expecting? A support, maybe? Or the
I would imagine the Karma gives you a nice, strong bot lane. You can also
And
flex
flex
it mid if you want, depending
Or
on the
top,
matchup.
they have played one game of the top.
They have, but I would not expect it.
No. Yeah, just saying that just in case we are blindsided, leave it open. Leave the door open.
Yeah.
so, room for some flexibility. Okay.
Also, Flash has not played at top yet. GAM has. You might
Oh,
be looking
sorry.
at
Yes, you are right.
Yes.
My bad. Sorry, looking at the wrong graphic. My bad. Yeah.
Oh, well,
It's
you
a
go.
takeaway from the top lane. Then that's what it is.
Take it away from 𝗂𝗃. Levi will not have access to the Gragas, though. Banned out. Camille as well. Galio has been left open, but the other half of that particular combo, the Camille, just removed.
So Flash are taking away the AP junglers. We know that Levi does go towards them. Question is, are they going to choose to remove something like the 𝗁𝗃, because they don't have the most backline dive just yet, or are they going to move something like the Shyvana?
I think, there is that. Also on the side of GAM, okay, Sylas has been a big pick for all 3 of the top
It's
side.
also an Ornn counter. This might be a first Ornn counter.
Yeah, might be an Ornn, that's a possibility.
I would have liked GAM to sort of try and attack the mid pool rather, maybe try and force that Karma to go mid rather than, and give your bot lane a much easier time. So that is hard,
so
but
Graves banned out. We're kind of wondering whether that Volibear might end up still being flexed. again, still a number of flex picks are kind of on the table for both squads. Jace, I suppose, could end at mid. We've said that Pantheon will likely support, but be moved around. Similar sort of deal with Flash, the VCS, the Karma. But they have got a pick to go towards. What are we expecting here? Jungle, perhaps? Instead, they're looking at Cannon.
So
yeah,
Cannon
Yoshino's misplayed.
Yeah, Yoshino's been blinding Cannon quite a lot. It's alright into the Jace matchup if that does go up there, because
And it's good into the Ashen team fights. Just immobilate the carries. Yeah, Cannon.
And I mean, you don't want a Silas to have a Cannon ult, so that explains that as well.
All right, and well, what do you know? In the encore of this particular draft phase, it will be the return of Levi's Karthus. There's that backline burst you are after.
And we could see a Wukong here. I don't know if it's particularly great on this patch, but it has been Kiai's next most played behind the Renekton. Or we see the Jace go top.
The Jace going top, get the skill matchup, get the AD carry mid, and then you have the Karthus Triss burst combo with the assassination.
Yeah. We've seen this once or twice before. It basically works that Tristana jumps forward, tries to get most of the damage down. He won't quite get the kill, but because Requiem is there to follow up, someone has a very bad day.
Yes, so...
That and Deer 1 is such a prolific player of the pick.
Yes, he is. Right.
Okay, Orianna being covered. Put it out there. Triss was first picked mid lane into Orianna. Yeah, I get that Ori is strong right now. I guess that the times have changed somewhat, but this is,
Ori's lane into Tristana is miserable, but come late game, you can try and sort of zone out the Tristana a little bit. You can also try and zone away the Karthus from getting the most out of his E and his passive. So it's a compositional pick, but yeah, the early lane is going to be miserable on the side of Cardi. But
the thing for me is that if you give over the early lane, doesn't that just give Levi so much farm on the Karthus? You need to be playing the early game very well from Flash, and that's not something we've always praised them for.
It gives a lot of agency to the mid jungle from GAM, so it's quite dangerous, but you are banking on that late game Ezreal carry, on the side of Flash.
So we've seen our comps. We've got that mid to late game team fight combo for Flash. Alright, it's more like the sort of individual lane kill combos for GAM Esports. Add in a Requiem to whoever gets low, and hopefully they will try and pick up some kills from that, is their aim, I expect. We've seen the two kind of styles that have been going towards for both squads. Who are you favouring coming into this? Nightmare at first.
That's a lot of comfort picks for GAM, and it's also a decent comp for them to play it in. I'm giving it to them.
Vinny?
I'm thinking GAM is going to have quite a difficult time dealing with the Slater Pala bot lane. Ezreal Karma, you won't be able to get those kills. You won't be able to shut him down, and Slater on Ezreal is disgusting. But yeah, I'm going to give it to GAM, because that mid jungle will just be too strong.
Mid jungle too strong. Tristana Karthus gonna outdo the team fight combo of Flash. Thus say my analysts. But, of course, the casters of Everyday and Yulwei may be telling a different story, and we'll throw it to them on the Rift to take it away.
Well, when we talk of stories, we often have heroes and villains. And while GAM is definitely a popular team, it is hard to cast them as anything but the villain, the towering juggernauts hidden away somewhere in a faraway land, often untouchable. But the heroes of Flash, last split, did ascend that tower and slay the dragon, rescued the princess to win the split. And now, Yulwei, I have to ask you, can they do it again? This is obviously not our final, but it definitely is a preview of it. How do you think this little chapter of the book is going to end?
Well, I think I stood alone on my prediction chart, going for Flash, and I stand by my decision. I am very impressed. I was very impressed with Flash in the last few weeks.
I predicted
even more
Flash,
impressed
actually.
in this week.
Flash.
Oh, interesting. Okay, you predicted Flash too. So the casters against the analysts, it seems. This draft couldn't have been any better for these two teams, because we have Levi Karthus. He is absolutely incredible on this champion. Last time, he had something like, I don't even remember. It was ridiculous. He had insane amounts of gold, got all the kills. all the minions too. And we have some very, very explosive champs overall for GAM. Of course, the 𝗬𝗺 special in the mid lane. 𝗬𝗺 is very good at neutralizing him. Very explosive indeed. And then on the other side, Flash with a super standard Flash draft. This is the most played champ for Slater. It's the most played champ for 𝗬𝗺. It's, I think, the most played champ for Yoshino. 𝗬𝗀 with one of his utility junglers. And I guess there's the support somewhere too. It's not the most played for Palette, but whatever.
I think this fits the comp more than Palette's usual suspect.
And actually, I want to talk about this support against jungle matchup, which sounds weird, but it is Karma against Karthus. And Karma can completely deny Karthus' ult damage if Karthus, for example, tries to open with ultimate. We've seen different Karthus approaches. Sometimes Karthus wants to run in, die, and then ultimate. Sometimes he wants to ult after his engage, or the other members of his team have engaged. He wants to follow up with his damage. Oh, interesting. Palette cleared the ward, and 𝗬𝗀 looking for the very first gank, but Levi's here too.
Yep, I think they just call that play off. No one scrapping early. The teams know that this is an important one. Maybe not really huge for playoffs implications. This is almost certainly our number 1 and number 2 team, and the difference between coming first and second isn't game-changing, but it's definitely a lot of pride. And I think, do you think there's a little bit of extra pride on the line, considering there are a few turncoats on the Rift?
There absolutely is a lot of extra pride on definitely. There is Palette coming over to Flash after failing to win his title on GAM. He really wanted to get another title and failed against Flash in the finals, 2-3, of course. We all remember the big final. And now he's on Flash. It would be very frustrating for him to see the title go to GAM now that he's on Flash. So he definitely wants to win and show them that they made the wrong decision letting him go. The same, of course, goes for Yoshino, who, I mean, he won the title in spring, not playing a single game in playoffs, unfortunately. But he won against his old team. He's the only member, or the only player who has multiple titles in a row now under his belt. He's the title defender for 3 splits now.
Not actually playing in any of them, unfortunately.
No, interesting enough, he hasn't played his playoff game in these title runs.
It's worth kind of bringing that up, I think. Last split, Yoshino was Flash's star player, but he got very, very sick when playoffs started. It was, quite a serious illness. He couldn't play. Oh, Slay going in, just a bit of poke. So he has a lot to prove. I think he wants to show that he is why Flash is good, or at least part of the reason. And going up against 𝗬𝗺, well, that's a damn good way to get your name back. Because, of course, he didn't play earlier in the split either when Flash beat GAM. It was still Stark.
Yeah, speaking of Flash beating GAM, that was the last time GAM was defeated. They are on a 6-series win streak. For Flash, that win streak is even longer. They are on a 9-series win streak, and if you look up ahead at the scoreboard, they are at 9 wins. They haven't lost a single series since they started winning in week 2. They one of the 2 win streaks is going to break, and there is the first attempt.
There they go. They're going in. The lightning will be called down. Slay's very low, but that shield got so much value, and in the end, it's going to be enough. Pantheon lives.
No one going down. Levi wants to pressure in the winning wave to give 𝗎𝗎LAF an easier back. He is already ahead in CS by quite a big margin, so he stole a lot of the CS from Froggy once again.
This is why we have that meme. We don't really understand how Levi gets so much farm on his Karthus. Oh, Yoshino, very well played. Oh, winning that. Oh! Okay, Yoshino.
Nicely done.
Yeah,
still behind in CS and pressure, but 𝗬𝗺 has to back off now. So all the lanes going kind of even. It seems like 𝗬𝗺 is controlling 𝗬𝗺's early aggression with the Ignite Tristana quite well. Went for a pretty risky choice here, teleport into Ignite Tristana. So we'll have more map pressure. And
no exhaust.
Speaking of map pressure,
no exhaust on this team.
Yeah, no barrier, no exhaust, no heal, no defensive summoner. Instead, he's just going to let himself be pushed in and then use his teleport to cheat back to lane. Later on, he hasn't even done that yet. So far, a very solid laning phase for 𝗬𝗺. Flash really is trying to make something happen in bot lane. Weak side cannon. Sounds weird, but that is what we see all the time.
That's a Requiem coming out. Yoshino. Oh, I didn't even see it in the mid lane. That is going to be the first blood. The second can't quite follow up. And the first Requiem heralds the death of 𝗬𝗺. We'll have to hopefully get a replay. 𝗬𝗀𝗺 obviously set that one up.
We just talked about 𝗁𝗃 not going for the offensive summoner, and that was his downfall. Yeah, the barrier would have saved him there. A heal would have saved him there potentially too. So, going for the teleport cost him his life. Let's see what happened. It's just an all-in for 𝗬𝗺𝗺. It's not very exciting.
That was a very well played, though.
Absolutely. Knight was on, so barrier would have saved him. Heal wouldn't have. So. Levi starting off with the kill, nicely. 𝗬𝗺𝗺 is now a little bit exposed though. Used Ignite and Flash. Could be punished by a Flash Bear Slap from Ego.
I think it's...
Followed up by a Shockwave.
Yeah, I still think it's very difficult to gank that Tristana. I don't think it's the lane to go for.
So Levi is very, very far ahead now. Look at the CS lead. He's keeping up in CS when it comes to with the laners. Almost even CS with his more CS, in fact, than his mid laner. Even CS with his ADC. And almost 30 CS up at 8 minutes on the enemy jungler. Also 2 levels ahead, by the way.
I mean,
this is...
Let me put it this way. If you asked me, if you came to me and said, who's going to win between GAM and Flash? Levi plays Karthus every game that he can. I'd say, well, yeah, obviously GAM. It's Levi's Karthus. He wins the game by himself. He's so
Levi
good.
Karthus is very, very frightening. He is very, very good on this
It's almost worth it.
He was actually quite slow on the first clear. We have to criticize him there. It's a tiny bit. He was done with the first clear at 3:13, which is about 10 seconds slower than he can be if you kite perfectly. But still, good performance.
It has not mattered.
No. And he was still way, way faster than Ego, of course. So we see Flash roaming up for the first Rift Herald. Yep. You can see the pings coming down from GAM 2. They've reset their bot lane into this Rift Herald fight. And Requiem is not available. That's quite important. Flash should also know that. The cooldown is very long, 200 seconds.
However, it is still, even without the Requiem, it's still just a level 8 Karthus. The stat difference you just get from 2 levels, those Skittles are, absolutely trucking. Can Ego really navigate into it?
So the eye is in a bad position for GAM right now. They need to have this objective turn around. There we go. So, it's still kiting this way, though.
Oh,
so
there's the Ash Arrow coming in, though. They just want to burst Ego out. He has to volley jump away. Rift Herald resets. Ego could potentially recover a little bit. He's going to go hit his Wraiths to try and get something back. But the
Rift Herald... R cooldown.
Yep.
Levi's ultimate is coming off cooldown.
You are dead correct there, mate. That is a Requiem available. The speakers are turned on. Will they use that mic? Ooh, they don't have to, as they just secure the Herald, and now Flash needs to get out. But 𝗬𝗺𝗺 doesn't want to let them. The Shockwave doesn't get a lot done. Requiem comes down, and 𝗃𝗏𝗏 will go to the grave. And it's Levi, once again, making the moves that just put GAM ahead.
And Flash too indecisive. They didn't quite know what to do. Do we want to contest? Do we want to let this go? And in the end, they kind of went for the worst of all the decisions available. They kind of contested, but also gave up the objective and died for being a little bit like lukewarm on their decision. And now we'll lose the first round in mid lane. This is such a monumental gold lead.
Yeah, this is already a disaster here. GAM putting on a clinic, and it's once again Levi's Karthus that leads the show. Let's have a look at this replay. 𝗬𝗺𝗺 got the party started.
So Flash, why are you this late to the contest? Shockwave, I mean, it's a nice idea, but it's not quite strong enough right now. 𝗁𝗃's only level 8. He doesn't really have the items to put 𝗬𝗺𝗺 in a vulnerable position with the Shockwave, so in the end, it doesn't really do much. And the big engage from 𝗬𝗺𝗺 followed up by Levi is something we have to look out for, maybe for more games even. Gives Tristana even more burst, basically, because Tristana already super scary to play against. Very hard to not die to a combo. If there's a 300-400 extra damage coming out of nowhere with the Requiem, that's even harder not to die to. So, 2 kills over to Karthus. He's at 100 CS at 11 minutes. He is putting on a really big show.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that sort of sometimes gets lost in the discourse of GAM, because of course they are this very bloodthirsty team. They love to go for their early fights and that, but they just have this second mode where Levi gets Karthus and he just outfarms lanes. It's insane what this man does. And it's not that he doesn't get kills. He's got 2 of them, of course. But they don't go for those crazy bot lane dives or anything that they often do otherwise. They just let him farm and he just 1v9s. He just does it by
Yeah,
himself.
in this jungle matchup, you know that you're going to get outpaced by the 𝗏𝗺. He's the king of the jungle. He's the one who clears the camps quicker than anyone else. I guess 𝗀𝗏 can kind of keep up with him, but no one else really is able to do that. So the Volibear has to look for early plays. He has to make the game, has to accelerate lanes and try to move the game away from a jungle difference, because the jungle difference inherently will always go to 𝗏𝗺's. This is ambitious play in the top lane. I guess they just want to get a few platings, trading it for the Cloud Dragon, which is very, very nice for 𝗏𝗺's.
Yeah.
Less ult cooldown.
Absolutely.
So
Huge value.
you have to. That is 20 seconds off your ult cooldown, by the way, for one dragon, because it's 200 on the first stage. So, yeah, that is quite a lot of ult cooldown gone. Levi has his ult available again. He's looking for another kill. He, of course, wants to maximize the PvE and PvP game. Usually, as a 𝗏𝗺's player, you feel like you're
could
playing
be caught out here. They might get something back. The Slicing Maelstrom. This is an easy kill. And Ego is finally on the board.
Nicely done. 𝗁𝗂 had no wards to himself, so he couldn't really protect himself from this one. He probably had an idea that this was happening, but we have another clash in the bot lane.
No, 𝗏𝗺 is going to go down momentarily, gets a big heal, but the Requiem is there. That stuffs any chance for counter kills as well, and it's a kill for 𝗬𝗎𝗏. And Dia1 has arrived. How did he even get there? Double kill for Ashe, and GAM are on fire, but Cardi's here, looking to be the fireman. There's the shockwave. 𝗬𝗎𝗏 loves the target. On the other side, Yoshino has picked up one as well. 𝗁𝗂 comes flying out of the teleport and through the gate. Cardi will go down, and now it's Yoshino and 𝗁𝗂 back and forth. Neither of them really have access to much, but it should be Yoshino with a big health lead. 𝗁𝗂 playing it about as well as he could, but in the end, the lightning squirrel comes out on top.
Out of nowhere, Flash win a big fight. They lose some more gold on the other side of the map. They are still very far behind in gold overall, but this is one very good salvage play from the other side of Flash. They even out the kill score and get some kills on their solo laners. Now Levi might be shut down.
Trouble, yeah, absolutely. Ego's on his way up as well. This is potentially a kill. 𝗏𝗺 racing on forward. They miss everything. That's not what you want. He goes gold. Slater should be able to time the Q, and he gets the shutdown.
That's a kill to Slater. Slater Ezreal. We've talked so much about Slater Ezreal. It is to be feared. He is the best Ezreal player by a long shot in this region. So he gets some gold for himself. Look at the gold totals.
I didn't quite catch it. What was the jungle gold total?
Yeah, Levi is sitting on more than 6,000 gold. And even after the kill, Slater is only at 5k.
Let's have a look how this happened, though. It was
engage from Slay and 𝗬𝗎𝗏. Very nice. Together and 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 is a level ahead, and he gets the healing from his old mantra W, of course. Slater ambushed by Dia1. Wow, that is a field's Batman for Slater, but Dia1, of course, gets hit by the turret and is very low now. Look at Cardi's movement here, deciding to go for Slay first, and then ulting 𝗬𝗎𝗏 so he can't get away, because Yoshino communicated that he's going to get Dia1. It's a very, very nice coordination between the two solo laners. Not greeting for one kill. So some teams you would see the mid laner actually just going for the last hit, and he wants all the gold for himself. Instead, he went for the kill on the other side and locked the ADC in place, so Yoshino could collect even more kills. So that's good to see. That's the Flash synergy we have talked about. And they have stabilized a little bit in this game.
They still have a big gold deficit, but at this point, that's almost entirely the jungle. And Ego... You can flame Ego if you want for being this far behind in CS, but it's the matchup. He knew that he's never keeping up in farm. There's no point even trying to keep up, so he's just been ganking. And they finally made it work, so it's kind of the right call.
Yeah, and 𝗏𝗏 is... Okay, we want to focus on this
yes. We'll come back to the
very important fight first.
4k health, 2k now with the eye being popped. Flash move into a good position. There's the arrow onto the jungler though. Ego's getting focused, jumps on forward. I don't know who got the smite. It must have been GAM because they're not picking up the eye. There is a kill back though. The Slicing Maelstrom doing a lot of damage, but there's a Requiem. This is a disaster. It's a double kill for him. There's a good shockwave to stop them, but Slay charging on in might have gone a little bit too far as Slater wants to take his name back. He gets the one kill, he gets traded out.
Surprisingly close fight. Flash actually with some very, very good savings there. They could have all died if not for the shockwave from Cardi. He read the situation perfectly and stopped Dia1 in his tracks. It's still a little bit of an ill-advised fight to jump into other 𝗏𝗺s. He had the perfect positioning for himself to just die. I mean, it's Karthus. He can just die and sacrifice himself, then basically block off the whole vicinity and also deal so much consistent damage. He's level 11 too, so that was a very hard-hitting Requiem there.
Absolutely.
Another misread for Flash, I'd say. They should not contest this Herald. Really don't like that they... Oh, yeah, that's true. But look at Ego. Why does he even step this close to the Rift Herald? I guess he wants to get the smite in. Yoshino with a very, very good ultimate. But he gets shoot back by the Jace. And this Requiem almost kills everyone.
Shockwave
he has one more
saves
item.
both of them, by the way.
Yep, the very, very good Shockwave from Kati. And Slayer even gets one back on Slay, who's a little bit too far forward. I think Slay should... Yeah, that was greedy. He should have just backed off and left the work to his ADCs. Instead, he gives the kill over to Slater, who's now on 2 items.
It's very true.
And...
Infernal Drake. The party doesn't stop here in this matchup, and while I do agree Flash perhaps made a mistake, they have the mechanical skill to get the best of it. But look at this. Up in the top lane, that's an inhibitor tower under siege. 𝗚𝗺, you know he never stops hitting stuff, and it goes down.
Remember, finals in spring. 𝗚𝗺 played 2 games of Tristana in the finals, and one of the games, I believe it was game 4. He just 1v9 carried the whole. That was such a ridiculous performance. He jumped in with his very strange Tristana build. That was the first time he actually brought out his very special Tristana build. He's not going for it in this game though, as we just see his second item coming in. Instead, going for a little bit more crit, which might be due to the fact that he played on 1016. Remember, we're on 1015, so the crit buff for Tristana is not actually in yet. So that's an interesting adaptation out of 𝗚𝗺, who usually likes to Rageblade second item into Black Cleaver.
True. So, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
You're Ethereal in this situation. Do you build Death Dance or more? Because I think MR is so important, but Death Dance is broken.
Ah, that's a good question. Looking at the items from Levi, I think it might be better to go Death Dance because he doesn't have the flat penetration, the double flat penetration.
He will, though.
But Maw is such a good item too. I like Maw actually. I think Maw is a very undervalued item. I would like to see the Maw, but Death Dance isn't a bad choice either. I feel like Maw is a little bit better against the burst damage from Karthus though, especially if he can't ever hit you with the Skittles and you're only really getting hit by his ultimate. Then Maw has a lot of value.
Yeah, I just feel like it's becoming very obvious that this is going to be the Levi show. The rest of GAM have their role to play, but the big guitar solo is going to be this Karthus every single time.
And do you know what item is very good in Karthus?
Do tell.
Locket of the Iron Solari.
Very
Please go
true.
ahead and build that thing, Ego. That is such a good item, especially on a champion that gets free HP, like the Volibear. If he just jumps in and then runs to his teammates and presses Locket, the Karthus ult will be mostly negated. So I hope we can see that item adaptation. I've actually not seen it enough against Karthus's. This time, of course, the top laner can't really go for it.
Locket, if she can build it.
It's better on the tank, though. It's way better on the tank. And it's still a lot of nice stats, so I would really like to see that on Ego. It's only 2,200 gold, if I remember correctly. So it's not actually that expensive. It's the perfect jungler item. So let's see if Ego makes the call, or if he continues to go down the usual path, which would be next item, I guess, that Deadman's Plate? Yeah, for extra movement speed.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Levi, of course, is keeping up the farm. Not quite at 10 CS per minute like we saw last time. Is only at 193. How pathetic. 193 farm on a jungler at 21 minutes. Levi, are you even good? No, of course, it's insane. He's getting already close to the Flame Horizon on Ego, who is trying to get something back. Oh, come on.
Oh, no.
They wanted to give it to Slater, and Kiaya was lurking. That's a shame. And look at this. Ooh.
They have an insanely fast Baron. I expect them to run at Baron multiple times in this game, especially if Levi has blue buff.
I don't think you can do Baron this early, not because of the damage, but because of the debuff. I feel like you get killed on the counter team fight. That debuff adds up.
It's risky. I only want to see them just check the damage over and over again. Especially if Levi has blue buff, they don't really lose anything, right? Just look how close Flash is going to get before you can kill the Baron. And if they're too close, okay, just call it off. That's not a big deal. You can just run away. You have the disengage tools from DR1. You have the Wall of Pain to disengage too. So it's quite hard for Flash to really fight them at the Baron, or initiate the fight, I should say. So I would like to see GAM just run at Baron over and over again, especially if someone shows themselves on the other side of the map. Yoshino, of course, isn't the premier target because he has teleport. But if you can see Ego invading your red buff like you just did there, or if you can see Ego taking a dragon, which might actually be a good bait.
Yeah, it's potentially something that GAM could just say trade a Baron for a Drake.
Hello?
Hello? Are you back?
Are we back?
Yep, you seem to have died for a second there. Hello?
Unfortunate. Okay.
But it's alright.
Still the dragon in 14 seconds. There's very good vision setup for Flash. It's still so dangerous for them to fight against Levi in this spot. If they can catch Levi and then all disengage, that would be perfect. Maybe a combo from 𝗁𝗃. Oh, Slater got caught.
Oh, that's not good at all. Slater's taking a lot of damage, but there's the Requiem used. Oh, that's a very deep Pantheon. He can buy a lot of time with the shield, of course, but has to flash away. 𝗁𝗃 can't quite land that shock blast. And that's a Requiem
is
down. But it's, of course, done the damage. They have to actually regen it, right?
So Slater is healing off the dragon quite effectively. Look at that. He's almost back to full HP now.
Ooh, a big accelerated shockwave. But the shockwave is absolutely massive on the backside. Yoshino enters the fight, and he is zipping and zapping them all. Double kill. Levi's in the pit. He manages to get the smite, so they get the objective at least. But the bear wants to avenge the jungle. He won't be able to do it as DR1 wants to turn it all around. Gets one, but will pay for it with his life. And that's going to be 4 kills. 𝗁𝗃 is the next one to look at. Slater goes down. That puts the Baron to bed, and they're all on the wrong side of the wall, so 𝗁𝗃 probably even lives. Oh, do they call that he's in this bush? He's teleporting. They don't have time to stop him.
Okay, they got his teleport at least, which is quite good. But that is a super close team fight, and maybe a little bit of a preview of more to come in this game. It's going to be exciting, because the team fighting for Flash is their strongest suit. They are such good team fighters. In basically every single aspect. Their carry players are very good. Their frontliners know exactly what to do and how to flank, how to provide front lines. Their support knows what to shield. And just the coordination, their target access and calling is the best in the league. Not even one of the best, straight up the best in the league. So even from a 3k deficit, they get the teamfight victory. They lose that dragon though. That was the main objective. And even getting all the kills while nice and while closing a little bit of the gold gap, it feels very bad for Flash. They wanted that pressure for the soul. Now they lost that completely and need to go back to the drawing board.
One thing I want to point out here is Levi. Damage-wise...
Yeah, they just ignored Levi.
But damage-wise, he barely participates in this fight because he just wants the Drake. He makes the call now. I'm just getting Drake, right? So he actually didn't contribute that much damage intentionally.
Oh, I mean, he can't... Oh, Slay is dead.
Slay has been killed. He's been slain.
So Levi has ult available, no flash though to get close, and if 𝗁𝗃 marks this entrance, this should actually just be a pretty easy defense of the onslaughting enemies. 𝗁𝗃 is very good at zoning.
Yoshino
DR1, oh, he's on a ward, he's on a ward.
Yeah, he has been spotted. That's very hard to push through now. The Shock Blast does a lot. The Ash Arrow follow-up, but the Mikhails freed the Orianna immediately, but 𝗁𝗃 is too low, and 𝗁𝗃 pretty much single-handedly stops the Baron.
Very good poke. 𝗁𝗃.
Whoa. They could just turn this around. Not with the Scuttle Crab, though. They can't do it with the Scuttle Crab.
They still want to do it, though.
They're making the call. They waited for the resets to be committed. And now they're on the Baron. This is so risky. Yoshino going wide.
Baron against Shockwave.
Yoshino found Slay on the other side there. 6k health on the Baron. DR1 has a flank, but he can't get in on 𝗁𝗃 because of the golden. And now he's caught out. His ego charging forward. Baron resets. The Shockwave gets a whole lot of nothing, but DR1 goes down regardless. And it's going to be round 3. Baron, ding, ding, ding. I hope you like fighting, son, because now it's Flash's turn again.
The AoE damage, though. 𝗁𝗃 and Levi looking for the opportunity to strike. There's the first shock blast.
Slicing Maelstrom still available.
Oh, Yoshino has no blast cone to get over there. Levi trying to spot him out. They know where Yoshino is. They are super scared of him. And he's going to zone them away. 𝗚𝗏 just has to... Oh,
they're too far
one.
away. Yoshino's just zoning. All he has to do is zone them off. There's no way for Levi to get close.
What?
Yoshino even gets the kill. The massive burst. Slater goes over. Requiem is called. But it doesn't matter. Ego ulted for safety. But it's Flash with a Baron and some kills. And the worm has turned around and bitten its own tail off as Flash is now in the lead. And this is going to be the longest replay of all time.
Yoshino is just smurfing on GAM this whole game. Another solo kill on Slay. Look at 𝗚𝗏 trying to go for 𝗏𝗺, but 𝗏𝗏 knows what's up. That was an interesting interaction. Actually, the Zhonya's denied the E from 𝗚𝗏 completely, so he doesn't have the E reset. He can't get out of there. Very bad shockwave, but it doesn't matter in the end. Now it's just Yoshino's ability to zone. He is so scary. He has evolved to 𝗬𝗏𝗺 in this game for sure. He's single-handedly winning all the team fights here with great zoning. Also, Slater contributing a lot of damage from afar.
I mean,
I actually like...
Yoshino wants to show that they should have picked him up. They should have kept him on the roster.
Look at this one shot on 𝗚𝗏. 𝗚𝗏 did not expect to die there.
No.
I really liked Ego's decision to ult here just for the added safety of the extra HP.
Yeah.
So he probably doesn't go down, but it gets pretty close. If you die to 𝗬𝗏's shock blast, you have no idea. Maybe 𝗬𝗏 flashes over, gets a Q in, and steals the Baron.
Yeah, it's just safety.
Better safe than sorry. I like that a lot.
100%. It's like, and his ult cooldown, obviously it's long, but it's probably not going to matter. Levi's been found. Both of them do a lot of damage, but look at all those shields. He fancy footworked around the arrow as well, so Slater gets out.
Risky. Slater, calm down, please.
Risky Visky,
By the way,
sure.
Look at Slater's itemization. He's going to go for an Edge of Night, which, of course...
I like it.
Yeah, it's very smart into 𝗏𝗺. If he's able to dance around the outskirts of the fight, never get hit by any ability, it's just going to block the most important one, Requiem. So that is a super smart itemization choice. I think I've seen it before for Slater.
Yeah,
Yoshino might die to Dia.
Oh, he goes gold. That should stop the burst damage. That is a dragon going down. They get the shields on him as well. Yoshino lives! Stomp, stomp. And now Slay is on the wrong side of the tracks. He's trying to get away, but they hit him with that emote. That's one I use. How nice to see. And that should be an easy kill. Slay really wants to trade it back, though. He's going to do absolutely everything he can, buying a lot of time. Pantheon, he's a support, by the way. And finally, Ego will get the kill. They got another one onto 𝗚𝗏 as well on the backswing. And Flash
double
are in
ultimate.
control.
Double ultimate for the Flash carries, and they are going to break. Maybe it's not enough for the inhibitor. I just wanted to say the inhibitor line. They have the wave and doubles.
With 𝗬𝗏 pushing mid lane, I think they can take the tower.
Yeah. This should be an inhibitor in bot lane, which of course bodes well for the rest of the game. Opens up the next Baron to be way easier. Of course, 𝗬𝗏 can push in super minions, no problem, in probably a matter of seconds. So it's not going to be that great for Flash, but it's still the first base broken. After that horrible early game.
Ego doesn't want to stop. 𝗚𝗏 stepped way too far forward there. Didn't respect the bear. That's big.
He's scary. He's a big scary bear, and you just one-shot him, of course. Aided by a little bit of Ezreal damage, maybe. But it's still very good initiation from Ego. He's our best frontlining tank player in the league, I'd say. He's very impressive on this Volibear and all of his facilitating champions. A little bit overshadowed in this game, maybe by his carries, but he's still contributing to the cause.
I mean, you've got to put it in a little bit of perspective, I feel. You're in a position where he is 100 farm down on the other jungler, and arguably in the last 5 minutes, he's done more.
Yep. So, and I want to come back to the 𝗏𝗺 point, because 𝗏𝗺, I think, is very misunderstood. I've heard some interviews of pro players talking about him. I actually don't think he's that great of a late game champion. I think he is very strong in late game, because in the jungle position, because he outscales all the other junglers individually. But I actually don't think he's, compared to champions like Orianna, to champions like Ezreal, I don't think 𝗏𝗺 is on the same level of late game threat, especially from the jungle. Because it's quite telegraphed. His ability is very telegraphed. It's quite easy to buy items against him, to position against him. If you catch him out, he can't really defend himself against anything. He just has damage. He has no CC. So right now, he offers an insane amount of damage. But if you can play around the damage, you can kind of just ignore him. So let's see what Levi comes up with. If he can hit level 16 for the next big power spike and turn this game around once more.
I mean, I just feel like Flash have navigated this 𝗂𝗧 so well. It's going to be super hard for 𝗬𝗲 to ever really die to him. 𝗂𝗧's, like, it's not 𝗂𝗧's job to kill 𝗬𝗲 in this game, and can anyone else do it? It's not super easy. I feel like Flash have navigated this super well. I mean, I think looking at their comp, I thought it was pretty obvious that they had a really good team fighting comp, and our analyst has said the same. And they've got to that stage of the game, right? 𝘂𝗔𝗃 needs to be careful, as that is a lot of damage onto him. And here comes the engage. 𝗚𝗂 on the run. They call in a teleport just to keep everyone safe. But 𝗏𝗏𝗺 now, getting the tether onto 𝗧𝗏. He confirms it as well. 𝗏𝗏𝗺's here, but I think they'll call this one off.
Yeah, look at the map. There's a white little Zhonya symbol. We want to see the Baron soon. Oh, an interesting teleport for 𝘂𝗔𝗃 to pressure bot lane.
Very interesting for sure. But he's going to go...
going for...
Could he catch dd1? If he catches
wants
dd1, it's absolutely
𝗂𝗏.
huge. There it is. He pops the ult, but the bunker shot gets him away. Buster shot even, not bunker. It was a bit of a bunker shot because he smashed it straight into the bunker. Didn't really get it onto the green.
What was that from 𝘂𝗔𝗃?
He
That was the first very questionable play for him.
I don't know.
They still want Baron, but seems like the Baron is kind of betraying them in terms of when it spawns, because they had a very good position on the map. If the Baron was spawning like 10-15 seconds earlier, they could have just rushed Baron. Now GAM was able to push out one of the super minion waves, or even two of the super minion waves, and get back into position to contest this one. They will even be first to the 𝗁𝗃𝗃, so
but
that's...
there's one problem for GAM at the moment. Only one player can buy wards. All of them have full inventories. They don't have their ward slot.
So many Dorans.
Yeah, I feel like you've got to be selling those Dorans. You need control wards.
Although, to be fair, they have Ashe, and Ashe, of course, is her E, so that's a little bit of extra.
Still, I feel like you need a couple more wards. Dragon is also spawning. Infernal Soul available for Flash. We could see a Baron.
Look at the items for the carries for Flash.
They're going in on Levi, and kaboom! That's a dead Levi. He's going to pop the Requiem. It's going to do a whole lot of nothing. It's just a little bit of a chunk. 𝘂𝗔𝗃 takes another hit as well.
But a bit of a chunk.
A little bit. A big bit of a chunk, maybe. 𝗃𝗏 wants to make a big bit of a chunk, but he gets shockwaved. He gets away, though, of course. 𝗧𝗏 diving on in, trying to make a little bit of chaos. But in the end, they stabilize. And this should be the Infernal Soul. Yeah, I think he can do it. He's uncontested. That's an Infernal Soul for Flash, and they now are in full control of this game. 𝗬𝗏 wants to show that he's the best ADC on the Rift, not 𝗃𝗏, and he will auto him down, doing a lot of damage. But look at all the stopwatches for 𝗁𝗃. He's just a statue. 𝗚𝗂 going forward, accidentally slaps a minion, but it doesn't matter. Look at that, the spam dance! Oh no! 𝗚𝗂 showing off his ego as he just spam dances while Ashe dies. And this is going to be Flash winning the game, I think. They've caught 𝗂𝗃. They're charging on through to the mid lane. They have a wave in bot. Can they end?
I think Levi has the suicide here, right in front of his Nexus turret.
The inhib respawned.
Yeah, it did. It's probably just going to be two inhibitors. 𝗂𝗏 and 𝗃𝗏 still dead for more than 20 seconds. They might try this one. But I feel like if Levi suicides...
Ezreal on towers. This is 𝗚𝗂 jumping on in. I think you're right. Levi needs to just go in and die so he can clear minions forever. He goes gold at first.
That's a good move.
Very, very low. There it is. He's dead. Doesn't have the access to the Requiem yet, but he's just killing minions. This is a good decision out of Levi. Is it enough?
What did he do to his Requiem?
No, it's not. It's not enough. The rest of the team was dead. It's obviously not enough. And that's going to be Flash. The early game looked so bad, but there is a reason we say Flash are the best team in the VCS. As they come back, they pick up absolutely everything and claim game one. It's a lot to take in. We need a few minutes to collect ourselves. Don't go anywhere. We hope you are enjoying the show. Do tell us in chat if you are, but we'll be back in a few minutes for game two.
Those cravens backstab me, deceive me. Never shall I tolerate their crimes again. Now let the hunt begin. Yeah. 7,000 souls scared and daunted, such a tale of woe. Not too long ago, this village was a golden scene of hope. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Yeah, bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. Yeah. I am the light bringer. Now listen, fellow warriors, I ask you, should my campaign come to an end? There's way more to avenge. Whoa! 50 million souls living in this realm without much hope. Not too long ago, this kingdom was a golden state of hope. Yeah! Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Yeah, bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer.
Are you not entertained? I may have made a mistake in reading the stats earlier, but I feel like the combined kills per minute in that game were more than high enough to satisfy the bloodlust of all VCS fans out there. It will be Team Flash coming away with the victory in Game 1, but it was pretty damn close, especially after GAM's early game. Am I right now?
Yes. Karthus and Triss got off to a nice early start, and Karthus started really farming, and of course then that first blood came in. It felt like playing around the mid to give Karthus this safety kind of margin to keep farming up worked really well for GAM in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, for sure. We saw the ignite the bomb from Tristana, rather. And then, of course, the Requiem
The other
coming
hop
down to
ADC.
put-
Yeah, I got you.
put the Orianna in the dirt. And then it kind of started snowballing from there. Vinny, talk me through the other thing that really broke open the early game for GAM, namely the first Herald into the big first mid turret afterwards that they got from it. Run me through that whole sequence.
So yeah, the first Herald fight was a bit of a lack of decision making coming out of Flash. They weren't sure if they were really in a position to contest. Turns out they weren't. DL1 were able to flank around and force them to, and really punishing them for that. Then with the man advantage, they were able to shove that mid tower and get a lot of gold early. The only real downside is because they were all grouped up, they split all the plate gold amongst the team, which meant no one was able to get a really big advantage. But the final and solo tower play went to DL1 by himself. But yeah, it was a massive thing to break open the gold lead, which unfortunately was kind of undone by the very next play.
Oh, yeah.
in the map.
And you would think, having just said all this, Levi's Karthus is off to a stunning start. First turret, first herald, gold lead in abundance for GAM. Then a lightning squirrel began to teleport behind some interesting bot lane plays, Nymera. What happened there that brought Flash back into the game.
Just the VCS, baby. I don't know what's happening. We saw a 2v2 in the duo lane going the way of GAM. And I know that we were saying in draft, I know that Vinnie was saying, like, hey, this Flash draft, this bottom lane, the 𝗬𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗀, that's a really good 2v2. At this point, with the Ashe arrow landing onto the Karma and bursting them out, looking really, really good. Then 𝗬𝗺 comes down. Comes in from behind turret, jumps and flashes behind the turret, gets another kill, gets another reset, but has taken turret shots. 𝗁𝗏 is there. There's a TP from the cannon as well. 𝗁𝗏 comes in like a second late and doesn't manage to disengage anything. Shockwave lands onto the Ashe. Then they manage to get, at least 𝗁𝗏 manages to kill the cannon in response, but I think it's 3 kills over the Orianna at that point, clearing up all the GAM members on that bot side of the map. And anyway,
being a 4 for 3.
Something like a 4 for 3. Really messy fight.
2 kills and an assist, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
But that was the kind of the starting of the counter snowball, and I think at this point it is worth bringing up our player of this particular game, namely Yoshino on that cannon.
Yeah.
We've been over how good he was in that play, but I think the play I really want to highlight that cemented him as the player of game for us was around that extended Baron dance a bit later into the game. Vinny, do you want to take me through how Yoshino played that?
Yeah, so Yoshino in that he was able to. So initially, Flash made the attempt to Baron ahead to back off, but when GAM was sort of trying to re-engage on that, Yoshino was able to sort of intercept Slay on his way to join them, instantly remove him. And he still had the ult to come back up and be a massive zoning threat. He even ends up getting the kill onto 𝗚𝗚𝗺, just, again, instantly deleting him. So, coming up massive, getting 2 crucial picks, and shutting off any ability to fire back from GAM, because the threat of the slicing maelstrom was just too big.
Can I just say, he took 𝗓𝗏𝗀𝗀 this game on the cannon, and it secured quite a few kills. We see a lot of spellbook cannon, it gives you a lot of utility around the place, but the amount of times I saw the little lightning bolt come down, I'm like, oh, it's part of cannon's kit. Wait, that's not part of cannon's kit. It just kills someone.
I just saw it as part of cannon's kit. There you go.
It's all lightning, baby. It's all the same to him. Yeah, and I think we do have to give praise for Yoshino, who ended up, I think it was something like 7-1, and I forget.
It was
but he played exceptionally well.
It's close running between Yoshino, 𝗚𝗚𝗆, and 𝗁𝗏𝗃 for player of this game, I think. Yoshino had some really big plays, particularly like killing off the Levi and stuff like that too, but some really big performances out of the entirety of Flash.
Yeah, I'd say I very nearly gave my vote over to 𝗚𝗚𝗆 after the beautiful BM moves of the spam dance chasing down 𝗚𝗚𝗆 at the end of that game. It was just that was crushing mental warfare out of the volleyball.
Clearly. You're easily entertained. Just dance for your MVP points, people.
Yeah. Well, speaking of dances, we've been over the Baron dance. I kind of want to talk about what should have been a dance and then Levi kind of stumbling, namely the Infernal Soul fight. It was already looking pretty rough for GAM at this point. The team fight comp was online. There was no front line really for GAM. It was looking a little bit desperate, and then Levi gets caught out before the Infernal Soul, and things start falling. Vinny, take me through it.
Yeah, one of the issues with the really high damage comps is when you fall behind, you have no one to throw back in. So, sort of lead your advance to try and get those things, and you're down behind. And Levi getting caught, he was most of the gold as well. So it really put GAM in that rough position where they couldn't do anything to. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've gone blank.
That's fine. We can say that. I understand that it did put them in a tricky position, right? That they were behind. The damage was no longer enough to deal with the opposing front line. They had no front line of their own. Infernal Soul on top of that. Some slightly interesting flanks from 𝗬𝗺. He was late to a couple fights or got caught out by Zhonya's, screwing over
that was huge.
GAM consistently. Tell me about shields and golden statues that really destroyed what GAM wanted to do in that mid-late game line.
Okay, so there were plenty of stopwatches this game, which eventually built into Zhonya's for the cannon, for the Orianna, and really big thing as well, the Mikhail's coming through for the Karma. between this whole menagerie of items which deny so much, 𝗀𝗀 could not find a clean team fight. You don't get Dark Harvest resets. You don't get lots of damage through from his ultimate either. Trist doesn't get to reset. You don't get to pick anyone off with the Ashe ult. We saw that around the mid lane outer turret, which I think it was it Slater or Carti that was caught out with the Ashe arrow, and then they just Mikhails and go away. That's it, you know, and then there's suddenly out the fight. A Pantheon ult's already been committed, a Karthus ult's already been committed, and then you go straight into a dragon fight from that, which is really unfortunate from 𝗀𝗀. I think that I hadn't quite realized how important it would be for these particular items for Flash this game, and they ended up completely neutering whatever 𝗀𝗀 could do.
Yeah.
All right. So
when almost all your when all your carry threats are ADs.
Oh, is he back? Let's find out.
Yeah.
Tech issues aside, well, I'm going to keep talking and assume we're live. We are back now. That's good to know from production. So slight tech issues on our side. Again, this is a bootleg broadcast. Such things happen from time to time, but yes, we are on a bit of an extended analyst desk, which is nice.
Oh, you fool. You think this doesn't happen on every broadcast.
We've got a bit of an extended break here from the official stream who added a bit of extra time, so we've got a bit more time to get into some of this nitty-gritty. We've been over the Zhonya's there, but I think we've done enough talking about the previous game. Let's see if we can look forward a little bit here. What do you want to see from 𝗀𝗀, having got to an early snowball and then kind of thrown it away?
I would like to see a bit more frontline from 𝗀𝗀. I think that if they're going to play something like... Karthus really doesn't thrive when he has, again, in the way when we're talking about the 𝗂𝗧𝗏 in the last game, space bought for him, where you've got someone like with the Orianna ball, just chucking in front. When you've got a Jace in topside and a Trist in the mid lane, really, really hard to get yourself those late game team fights if you're not anything but very far ahead. They were pretty far ahead. It still didn't end up in their advantage, particularly once the team fight started going against them. So I think that 𝗀𝗀, if they want to start, and I get that Slay is kind of the artificial front line with the Pantheon, maybe it just needs to come down to Slay cooling his jets a little bit. Play Alistair, yeah, go for it, whatever. I think he needs to cool his jets a little bit and maybe use his cooldowns a little bit more efficiently on the Pantheon. He did pretty well in some situations, but his scoreline was not flattering.
And for the opposition, Vinny, what does Flash need to do to clean this series up today?
Well, I think you really need to target Levi more. Don't let him set up on the Karthus. Give him put him onto a jungler that you can match early. So, I mean, he will probably still outpath Ego, but if you can stop the really early snowball coming out, you don't have to rely on them. You don't have to rely on massive outplays around Baron to get back into it.
I do want to say, actually, they managed to contain 𝗄𝗏 very well given that matchup, though. Yes. I do think that was a bonus.
Yeah, that was very important. Also, I think we may continue to see a couple of issues in terms of the AD carry meta. I want to see them. I want to see Slater on Caitlyn. I think he'd do great on it, but
gotta see it.
So far we haven't seen any moves towards it. He's prioritizing Aphelios over it and things like that. So
yeah, have to keep our eyes out for it. Certainly, some questions asked by Vinny there about what's going on with the Caitlyn. Why is it not here for Slater? But also some good ideas for Flash closed out. Bit of an update on production and where things are at the official stream. Currently on a break with no timer. We're kind of left a little bit in the dark as much as you are, and as a result, we're going to go on a very swift break ourselves, and we'll come back with picks and bans once whatever's going on in the official stream has kind of resolved itself. go nowhere, or perhaps go grab yourself a cuppa and then sit down for game 2 because it's going to be another barnstormer, I guarantee.
Force will fall. Let's make them crawl. And when we finally meet the king, there will be no good for him. We shall end it all. The era of metal has begun, and metal shall prevail. For we know what they have done. 5 legends of our realm who sought to follow the path of their dark musings. But they did not know what they had summoned. Pentakill. To these creatures, there is but one thing left to do. Heavy metal.
Ladies and gents, welcome back. Again, apologies for the slightly extended delay there. Official stream had a bit of an unusual break there. I think they had some issues at their end. Either way, it's been resolved. We are into draft for Game 2 of Team Flash versus GAM Esports. We have seen this around. It'll be Flash on blue this time out, and they have banned Renekton and Lucian. It's Nidalee and Syndra that GAM have decided to remove from the table. You are muted, by the way, Nightmare, just as a heads
I
up.
am, but I'm also behind the timestamp, so I was like, oh, there's a Syndra and Lucian ban. I'm like, I have no idea.
Well, I'll let you sort that one out.
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll let Vinny take over for a little bit there. You've seen the Carthus out of Flash as well. Didn't want to.
Okay, I'm here now. I'm good. Whew.
Well, he's back. All right. So again, bootleg broadcasting, staying in sync can sometimes be a touch challenge. First pick set straight out the gate by Team Flash.
And this is a very important pick for Flash. Palette is insane on it. Ego has been insane on it. I don't know if we've seen Cardi on it. I would have to double check that, but I can assume he can play it. But
well, the guy is such a multi-talent.
Yeah,
so you assume so.
All right.
And
GAM, though, with the very swift response of Ashe Thresh, they want a little bit more pressure in lane. That's two pretty high priority picks straight out of the gate.
Well, the Pantheon was banned.
Is this the time where you pull out the Caitlyn?
So Caitlyn is not great into Ashe. This is one of the lanes where you could lock in Caitlyn Karma here. Caitlyn Karma, and that wins every lane. Or Kate Morg. Kate Morg also good versus the Thresh too, because the shield interactions and all that stuff. Yeah, okay.
Gone towards the Kai'Sa.
So
I would throw this to Vinny, but I know, Nightmare, you've been having some thoughts about Kai'Sa in recent weeks and suggesting that maybe she's on the rise a little here.
She is. What this means is that Flash can set up for a huge dive comp. If anything, I'd really like to see a Galio locked in right now, and then you go for some really hard engage on the top side of your map after that's locked in. You already have the set, can go alongside the Kai'Sa, very, very good in lane in terms of stacking up your plasma, because you do have that face breaker, and all the other shenanigans. And because Kai'Sa is the only dive AD carry in the game, it does fit that MO.
Well, Yoshino was the very best in the last game. He's looking to reprise that role here. Pikachu, I choose you. Locked in one more time. But it leaves GAM to pick up the Sylas that was banned in the last game. Could go top, could go mid. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Levi pulled it out.
I have a very strong idea it's going to go top. It feels...
Yeah, steal away the cannon ult.
Goes well
like
into the cannon. Yeah.
Great cannon pick towards the cannon, whereas you don't really want to blind Sylas. Though DR1 is swapped to that teleport, so could be going to him. So, and this Rek'Sai ban is worthless. It's not an ego champ.
Okay, so the reason you would do that is because it's one of... It's potentially... I think that what they're trying to say is, look, Rek'Sai has really weird gank paths into bot lane. If you kill this Ashe, this game is very, very poor, because Kai'Sa does suffer in lane versus Ashe at some points. But if that, and we know that the bot side of the map for Flash is very, very strong. This would literally just be, Rek'Sai, your only job in this game is to get bot lane ahead. After that, you're not a champion, but if you do that, fine.
Tristana banned out by Flash against DR1. Trundle as well. So it is looking towards that jungle pick, but I know obviously, Vinny, you're very confused about the
yeah, I'm confused about the Rek'Sai, as like if you had banned Volibear, Trundle, that's two of Vigo's main champs gone. You kind of force them onto. You kind of force the set to go there.
That's a good point.
Levi pick it first here.
Fourth
pick. Did they pick it first pick in the second phase? Do they just
no? I don't think it's anything. I would not expect Levi to be on that Volibear at all. I would.
And we already expect that Kiaya will pick up the speed. Yeah. I mean, that'd be much better in sense of... I would love the Gragas here, actually. Really, really good disengage. Really good versus cannon.
Am I the prediction god? Is it going to be the lock-in of the Lee Sin? The Rek'Sai was always that old counter?
So, Lee Sin has the... Yeah, okay, yeah. So, in the same way that Gragas would have been good, Lee Sin is good, you can just kick cannon out of a fight. The question is whether Yoshino gets himself a good enough angle where the kick comes in too late, it's just not impactful enough, or just doesn't... Yeah, it just doesn't happen at all because he's got these stuns.
Yeah, the only thing is Lee Sin does not quite scale as well as Gragas in terms of team fighting in the late game. So they may be looking for that early game dominance, but if the Olaf comes through, yeah, there's no real early game dominance coming out.
That's really good versus the Ashe too. That being said, the
Lock
Thresh
in the
Lantern,
Galio.
therefore, the Thresh Lantern, really important. I think Galio's a little bit harder to pull off because it's not quite as easy as someone like 𝗀𝗃 or
I think you could just go
or the Knuckle.
Orianna again.
Ori would be
pretty good,
okay.
yeah.
Maybe you could go.
Thinking about it.
Where's Karma? You could also go Karma for the speed up. Again, either so Karma or Olaf, really strong. Orianna does have that again. You do have.
Go to
It's going to be
very
Ryze.
different.
instead.
Hmm.
Okay. Tell me about Ryze here. Bit more of a split push threat. Of course, the Realm Warp can change your macro a little as well. And not a bad team fighter once you get his items in there. Hovering an Ahri here, and if it is done, I would give Vinnie more talking points, but Nymera is a massive
Wait,
Ahri.
is he actually considering it?
He is considering
Hold
it.
Oh,
Nymera,
sweet
your
Jesus.
time is here. We all shut up.
Okay,
Go,
so
man.
I'm not saying that you have a hidden passive when you hit 1,000,000 mastery points on Ahri, but here we are. Okay, right. Ryze, he has to run up to you. So if he has to run up to you to trade, he is in range of your charm. He has no trading patterns besides through minions where he can trade through a charm. And also the cannon is in a similar spot. Ahri, if you manage to get vision control this game, can kill anyone but Olaf on the enemy team. I want to see... don't go teleport. Please do not go teleport. Okay, it might be a glacial Ahri. That would be really sucky in its own way because I'd really like to see electrocute. I'm just give me a second to weeb out.
All right.
Okay,
Vinnie,
so-
we're gonna give Nymera a moment. Talk me through the different team comps and what you're expecting here.
So I'm
God.
expecting a lot of sort of using that Olaf and maybe the Genin to sort of just bridge that gap while we scale
believe
into
it
the
happened.
Ryze and the scale into the Ryze and
Keep going, Vinnie. You ignore
Ryze
it.
and
Keep going.
𝗂𝗄. On the side of GAM, I have not seen an Ahri for at least
Okay, the reason
multiple
this is good is
years
that all
in
the
solo
carries-
queue or in pro.
Yeah.
So
You play with Nymera
there's a
more,
lot of
man.
movement speed, which is really awkward for the Ahri to land charms, but if you ever get vision control, Ahri can just delete the main carries. Cannon, no real counterplay to the charm coming out. Ryze, similar kind of story. And you can get wave control. You can start roaming across the map at some points too. I want to see how his laning phase is first, though. Could be very interesting to see.
All right.
but
See
so with
both
the
crafts,
if
guys.
I put that okay.
I will let you speak in a moment, but I want to drag us to we've seen the team comp. It's a bit more standard again from Flash. It's a lot more different from GAM, going with a little bit more spice once again. I need your predictions because we're on to the Rift. Vinnie, go first.
So, I mean, other than the Ahri, which I know nothing about, the rest of the map is very good. Are great picks for GAM. 𝗂𝗃 has absolutely put out carry performances on this Silas, and he has a lot of decent targets to choose from. Well, actually, he's only
Alright,
really got
and
the
you,
cannon.
Nymera?
So, but I'm going to go Flash. I think Flash
Ahri is
actually
trash,
has
Flash are going to win.
Ahri's
no,
trash.
first.
Flash is going to win from the million mastery point.
Finally,
Ahri,
he admits
Every
his
day.
waifu is trash.
every day, take it away from us.
So, see, look, some people say that the VCS is fixed. It's not, but I do have the ability to see the future. So we brought Nymera on because we knew Ahri was going to get picked. We had a Zed yesterday. We have an Ahri today. We needed that million mastery point Ahri main. And oh boy, 𝗀𝗀 is playing Ahri.
But
Why?
Okay, that is a weird one. I want to hone in on Flash's draft first, because I feel like this is a very different look from what they usually do. 𝗁𝗃 is taking some damage, interestingly enough. This is dive, a lot of dive. They opened up with Sett and 𝗁𝗄𝗃 for the first two champions, and then closed it out with Olaf and also Cannon, who can kind of play dive and also a little bit more defensive. But this is a lot of dive from their side, so they really want to get on top of the Ashe. And I guess we have to see if the Ahri with Glacial can be defensive into this dive and maybe deter a little bit of the engage.
Hang on.
Flash.
What? You're making a good point. Look at Slater. There's something on his feet,
Yeah.
Yulwei. There's something on his feet.
There's some. Oh, what the what?
He has a red buff. They
Wait, what?
invaded the enemy red buff, and the bot lane picked it up. What is
No,
happening?
no. They invaded the enemy red buff, and the bot lane picked their own red buff. Got their
Yeah,
own
that's
red
what I said. That's
Yeah,
what I
okay.
meant. Sorry, that's what I meant. That
So-
is an interesting thing to do.
They lost almost no HP doing so. That is very impressive. Okay, so that's going to be a 3 buff, but not a 3 buff for the jungler, but the team and
Oh,
Slay.
there we go. Slay's very, very low. Does survive for now.
Heal and flash blown.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
That's
GAM
big.
overestimating the level 2 power spike and going too deep under turret. So
They have...
going their way.
They're safe at the moment, though. Levi is on this side of the map, so there's no gank threat. They can't dive, though. Not with those summoners gone.
No, I believe a dive would be very ill-advised, especially against Palette's Facebreaker. Maybe if you can get the Facebreaker early on, but you still have double flash and heal. That's so much HP to burn through. I would really not advise this dive. Let's see what GAM goes for.
I don't
They have
think that.
teleport on DR1 and 𝗂𝗄𝗃. They could double teleport into bot lane.
They could. I feel like it was just Levi was counter-invading just to steal some camps away, which he did. I don't think there was ever a plan for a dive there.
Yep. Also covering or giving the bot lane a little bit more safety with the coverage. If Slater and Palette opted to go or were to opt for aggressive trade after GAM lost the first one, Levi could then come in to punish, right? So I like the shattering. Also just took away the camps, of course. So jungle is still even in creeps, which is a good sign for Lee Sin. And there's a teleport.
They're going in on Ego. DR1 wants to try and confirm it. Ego's just going to fight over the chicken, but needs to get away from the trash waifu. There's a flash charm to get us rocking, and Lee Sin brings down the fist.
What a great read for GAM. They knew exactly where he wanted to go, of course. Ego wanted to maximize his farming speed. He started enemy raptors, so he wanted to go to the enemy raptors again. And that was very telegraphed. GAM read him like a book. Very nice teleport to DR1 to cut off the way for Rice, who tried to roam into bot
Ego
lane.
played that badly. He had a lot of time to run. It's almost like he didn't see the teleport.
Yeah, that's true. But he also, I think he didn't want to blow his flash to enable a little bit of an early aggressive gank. It's a choice you make.
Is it better to die? It's like he was fighting over the raptor. I feel like he could have run, thrown the axes, and gotten to the blast cone. It's just fighting over that raptor was silly.
That's true. Yeah, for sure. His movement wasn't perfect. I feel like not flashing there can be valuable if you make it work on the next gank.
Fair.
Because
We'll get
DR1
the
flashed.
They'll get the Drake out of the early pressure, which is nice.
Yeah, they would all... I mean, the Drake would have always been theirs, because the early bot lane 2v2 went very heavily in Flash's favor, so they have full control on the bot lane. So... We start off with a nice kill for GAM and a little bit of a gold lead. Top lane is pretty even. 𝗂𝗄𝗃 has shown us some very good Sylas performances before, but honestly his laning phase on Sylas has been questionable. He went 0-3 in one of the games and then got a quadra kill in bot lane. I believe that was against 𝗳𝗏𝗏𝗺. So he can be picked on. Sylas is quite easy to gank, especially in the early gank. So I'm a little bit surprised we don't see an early gank from Olaf to chase him down.
I think he goes forward. I think he should have gone fleet footwork in this lane.
He seems to be struggling with HP a little bit,
Exactly.
trading his HP for lane control.
Like, people are going to immediately flame me for saying that because Conqueror is so good on Sylas, but in this lane, I actually think he needed the healing.
Well, he's fine in terms of CS. He has applied a lot of pressure. He's now resetting with a nice cheater recall, so he doesn't have to TP back to lane. Already did that earlier, though, so still a TP advantage for Yoshino, who can now reset with the TP later on. He's taking a lot of time to clear this minion wave for some reason. Not sure why. So the Ahri against Rice matchup is very, very fascinating to me. So far, nothing really has happened. But there we go. Ahri has hit level 6, and she can get very close to Rice and charm him.
Yeah, but so Nymera, who was of course on our analyst desk, is a big Ahri main, big Ahri one trick, and was saying the probable reason. Well, actually, might come back to it after. There's a bit of contest here. Are they going to go for that? There's a
Levi
hook.
6.
That's a Levi 6, and there's no answer. There's a big kick, and this is a disaster. The Haymaker and the Facebreaker are huge, but not huge enough. GAM get the easy kill. Ego, don't get baited back in, mate. You're still not level 6. Yoshino's arrived. He flashes over the wall straight into the slicing Maelstrom, and bang, it's a kill back. This game is chaos.
And 𝗁𝗃, very bad path. He needs to flash. That was badly played
but
from
now
𝗁𝗃.
the flash is not enough. The charm lands, and good night to him. That is another kill for the Ahri. Well, it's actually the first kill. Is this fight still going to keep going? Surely
It
not.
is.
There's a 𝗁𝗃 ult, another charm landing, absolutely breaking hearts. Slater jumps in, Slay so low. He finally goes down, and the fight will eventually end.
In the 2-for-2, which is absolutely absurd looking at the start of the fight. What happened here? So I feel like Flash completely misread the situation, because they were all level 5 against all level 6s on the other side, so a very big power spike disadvantage. But we will see that in the replay. It meant a lot of top lane pressure for 𝗂𝗃. He got the plating, he got extra experience, he's a level ahead now. At least Yoshin should be able to keep up in gold. As you can see, yeah, gold is very even between the two top laners, because he collected one of the kills down there. But he's behind in experience now, and take a look at what happened. They are both level 5, and Levi is level 6. That's such a big power spike for Lee Sin, especially if he gets a line damage, as he did here. Perfect positioning for Levi. We know he's the god on this champion.
Why re-engage?
Yeah, that's a very good question too. I mean, why even go close to that in the first place? Ego also didn't use the blast cone, instead flashed over the wall for some reason. I don't know why. And then Yoshino comes in the teleport. 𝗁𝗃, that was
silly.
Yeah.
Bad. Like, you could have gone right there as well. Like, that was shocking out of 𝗁𝗃.
Yeah, every single movement from 𝗁𝗃 was bad. Now GAM is very deep in the enemy territory, and Flash rightfully acknowledged the fact that they can actually punish once again. And Slater jumps over the wall after 𝗂𝗏 used his ability, so no threat on him. Nice kill over to Ego. He's behind quite a bit in this jungle matchup, which shouldn't happen. So, the Herald fight.
The Herald fight. Looks like it's gone over to GAM already. We didn't see that one, but the arrows come out, but it's only hit a Ragnaroking Olaf.
Good block.
Well done. Ego played the Secret Service there. But GAM, they get the objective. That should get them even further ahead in gold. So what I was trying to say before it all kicked off, to bring it back, is Nymera's theory is this Ahri is because she can run Glacial Augment, and she is the safest Glacial Augment user. Is she? Or is Veigar a thing?
I'm not sure if Veigar is good into Rice. I feel like Veigar would struggle in that line. So, oh, never mind. No time for that. Another scuffle on the top
side, lane. More than a scuffle, it's a murder. As 𝗎𝗎love has been put in the dirt, and this is not stopping Yulwei. I'm trying to look over to our analyst's point, because our analysts are feeding us information, but I look away and there's a kill. What's going on?
Let me take over the looking at the analyst feeding us points. What is going on here? Oh wow, that is way too long of an essay for my Nymera. Sorry, no, I'm not reading that.
Don't worry, it's all about Ahri. You don't need to.
I thought so.
But it is interesting for sure.
What I like about this Ahri, if anything, is that she spikes earlier with the Glacial compared to the Rice. So mid-game should be the powerful
the slicing
strike.
maelstroms are both going off. It's a double Storm Center. As that is going to kill Levi. Does not go down. There's a teleport interrupted from the top. And only Ego is here to defend this wave.
Yeah, very good Triumph proc. Really played to its full potential there. Without the Triumph, he was dead.
Oh, yeah.
But now it's going to be a lot of plates for 𝗂𝗃 and Levi, of course, collecting half of the gold too. It's not going to be a turret, so what is happening in top lane? It's still 3 platings standing, but they have the push, so that should be another plate. Bot lane in favor of Flash, top and jungle in favor of GAM. Kind of what we expected from this matchup. But
𝗎𝗎love. That was just fishing. He's fishing.
Yeah.
No harm.
Looked bad, but I mean, you can just shoot that arrow. If you hit, you can really get a lot. If you don't hit, well, whatever. It doesn't really matter too much. So yeah, what I was trying to say is that the 1-item, 2-item power spike for Ashe on this build with the added utility, I think is a lot stronger than 𝗁𝗃 on 1 item. So you're very strong in the mid game compared to the Rice, and the Rice needs more time to scale, which means GAM should definitely be in control of the next like 10 minutes. And last game, they really struggled to turn a snowball into an avalanche and get the game victory. So that's their attempt here with this early game, mid game composition, I'd argue. Let's see what they can do. They are ahead in gold once again, 1.5k. That's not too unfamiliar to either of these teams. Flash, of course, very good from behind, very stable, very consistent, very textbook, you could say. And GAM, usually very, very good in the early game.
Absolutely. And I know we've been talking about it a lot, but it is such a strange thing to see. This Ahri pick, I kind of like it against Kennen. He comes in on a flank, you throw a glacial at him with your GLP and then smack him with a charm. He's not doing much.
Yeah, maybe. And last game, 𝗀𝗂 just hard carry team fight, so maybe it's just a Kennen counter pick we haven't seen in a long time. Would have expected to see Janna before Ahri, to be honest. Very good Kennen counter pick too. I'm interested to see how the side lanes develop in this game, because both Rice...
𝗀𝗂
never mind that, 𝗀𝗂.
Has to find a way out, 𝗧𝗏 doesn't hit the flay, doesn't hit the hook, and 𝗀𝗂 gets on out of there.
Didn't even have to flash.
Oh, but on the other side, there's a play on the bot side, but 𝗃1 was deep already, but it doesn't matter, the Ahri can't turn the Sylas's fate around.
4-on-2, and 𝗀𝗃 was confident in turning that around. Not quite the damage to pull that one off. Of course, set ultimate also not great for Sylas, because he actually deals 80 damage. Wow, 𝗧𝗏 once again on the hunt.
Ooh, 𝗀𝗂 does get caught there, and 𝗀𝗂 now coming on in. That's a lot of damage coming out, and that Kennen had no chance. Of course, the one thing to clarify is he doesn't deal magic. Sylas converts the damage. That's part of his art.
No. He converts the damage into scalings, but the damage output is still the type.
Oh, of course, yeah, that's what you meant. Sorry, mistake.
Yeah. So he has AP scaling on the damage, but the damage that he outputs is still AD. It's the same with MF ultimate, which is why those kinds of ults are actually not super great for Sylas, because he doesn't have the penetration to make it work.
Of course, true.
So it's a very scrappy game so far. Flash kind of getting... I mean, you could say kind of getting drawn into the chaos, but they are responding to GAM's plays quite well across the map. Got the first turret for themselves and closed the gold gap to a mere 1,000 at this point in the game. Last game, they were 3k gold down, so it's a better early game for their side.
It absolutely is, and they are going to be able to knock down a tower. Flash got the first in the bot lane, of course, but still, being able to answer it back. 𝗎𝗎love hasn't had the best start to this game, has been caught twice, but the rest of the team doing very, very well. It's hard to call this one, Yulwei. It is very, very hard to call.
It absolutely is. And let's focus on GAM, because last game we talked a lot about the potential to come back from Flash, so everyone knows about that. They came back, they got the victory. They've done that multiple times now against GAM. But let's focus on how GAM is going to snowball this game, because they definitely need to put some more gold into their pockets to lock this game in. Only one dragon, so the dragon snowball isn't really the greatest look for them. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to give Rice and Kai'Sa time to get to their items. So I want to see more topside focus. I want to see Herald used to break mid lane turret into then extending vision into enemy jungle and completely starving the enemy Olaf into a position where he's just not even a meatball, just a very squishy object moving around and dying instantly. And if you can achieve that, you have complete control around Baron later on. So I would really like to see this be a very topside focused game for GAM and not care too much about the dragons, because I feel like the dragon snowball is a little bit too late for you to really accomplish something.
It's very true. All of Flash sitting in a bush here were hatching a ward and then got hawk-shotted. So nothing gained there. They are going to start up this Herald. 𝗧𝗏, of course, still very strong at this point of the game. Hail of Blades Kai'Sa has the Mana Moon. Not going for the Dirk that we've sometimes seen to get the super early transform.
Good to see. 𝗃1.
Ooh, this is late on the play. This is so super late on the play. The Herald's already gone. I don't think that teleport is necessary.
And I just talked about, maybe I just cursed them, I'm not sure. I talked about them having to play around topside objectives, and they gave up the Herald for basically nothing. Guess they get better positioning in bot side. But there isn't much other than a dragon to get for GAM, and I don't think Flash cares a little bit. They don't give a single hoot about this dragon. There is nothing for them to get on the bot side, so preventing the topside snowball for GAM is even better than getting the Herald for yourself. You don't really care for that either. Maybe you can crack a mid turret, maybe you just get a little bit of damage, but the important part is stop the onslaught of the enemy team.
What do you think of the build out of 𝗃𝗃 here? Oh, now you'll have time to think about it, as 𝗃1 is the target, but that's Ice comes out and gets him free. GLP over Proto Belt. What do you think?
Double GLP, that's a lot of control.
It is.
Well,
I suppose
It's not quite as... I'm not sure about this.
So,
Sylas is a very strange champion to me.
As a Sylas player, check my Twitter, I've got some sick highlights. Nah, don't. I'm bad. As a Sylas player, I'm kind of looking at it. My gut reaction is Proto Belt is really good, but you don't need to dive. They do it for you. They dive on you. So the GLP actually makes a lot more sense now that I'm thinking about it.
It's very good as a defensive tool also to get a lot of burst damage in, to get extra crowd control. He, of course, doesn't have the Glacial for himself, so not quite as much crowd control as DR1 can bring to the table. But yeah, the anti-dive items, he's pretty low on AP on this build right now. No penetration from boots either, so he's more of a utility Sylas.
Yeah, he's stealing cannon ults.
Yeah, he's basically a glorified cannon at this point.
Not even glorified.
And a defensive cannon.
He's budget cannon.
Yeah, maybe he's budget cannon. Let's see. I actually think Sylas with cannon ult is very, very strong most of the time. I agree,
but it has 3 times the cooldown. Or 2 times the cooldown,
That's true.
I should say.
That's true. So I feel like this will once again be a little bit of a defensive cannon from 𝗂𝗃. So just sitting on your most important team members and anti-dive cannon ults. Because the enemy team definitely wants to dive. Ego wants to dive. Slater wants to dive, Palette wants to dive, even Yoshino to a certain extent wants to dive, so just play anti-dive, and most of the time in Season 10, anti-dive wins against dive. We have in a very disengaged focused meta right now. So let's see if Flash can make this very aggressive.
Ooh, Ego summoning up the Herald here, but he's getting caught out. Has the Ragnarok, of course, makes up a lot of distance. Can the charm land out of DR1, or is there no love in this man's heart? There might not be an Olaf, but it did land onto 𝗏𝗃. So much damage being done by GAM. The showstopper by DR1. And Slater actually gets the first kill. Palette gets the Haymaker, finally goes down. Another charm landed, but there was a set ult as well. They're turning it all around. It's an absolute bloodbath in the mid lane. But Flash are coming out on top. Slays a free kill, double for Yoshino, and that was nuts.
And that
oh my god!
What?
Whoa, Slater!
He hasn't played against Ahri in a while. Oh no!
Oh no! You can't do that, Slater.
Flashing right into the charm, the waiting arms. Well, he died for that. He deserved to die for that. That was hilariously bad.
Looking like the standard Ahri main, just wanting to get charmed by her.
So how do you get around the fact that your dive composition is quite easily countered by the anti-dive from the enemy team? You split the team fight into different parts, as we can see here. Let's look at this replay. So Ego kind of unwillingly starts the fight by getting caught. So he has to run a long way around. His Ragnarok is not going to last for the charm. Ducati steps up here. I'm not sure if willingly or not. No, probably not. Flashes away. Levi is now isolated, and they get a lot of damage on Levi. Slater ultimate, he gets a shutdown. Meanwhile, Palette is buying so much time, and Yoshino, out of vision, by the way, now uses the opportunity to flash into the enemy team. Nimbus Cloak, a lot of extra movement speed. So all the dive was staggered. It was not used at the same time. Usually you see Camille, Galio, Nocturne combinations all dive at the same time. I'm not going to talk about this. That's just embarrassing. But this time around, the dive was actually just chained one after the other. And that's going to overcome GAM's anti-dive, because the anti-dive for GAM is more focused on one engage. On 1 second engage, then you disengage, then you're fine. Then you can re-establish your battle lines and fight defensively. But if the dive from the enemy team comes in waves, basically, then they can't really do much against it. So that's a very cool team fight to look ahead in this game, of course. Because that's going to happen more and more.
It's very true. And the gold has now come back to just about 700, a very meaningless difference.
Deja vu from last game.
Absolutely. We've been in this place before. So,
lose lane, win game seems to be the motto for Flash for the second half of the split.
A little bit, yeah. So, what does this mean for that GAM snowball? You said you wanted it to turn into an avalanche, but I think the Park Rangers got here in time.
Definitely looks like that way. It's even less of a gold lead than last game. In terms of scaling, I think they are once again at a severe disadvantage, especially when you look at the mid lane champions. It's Rice against, well, some weird champion we haven't seen in ages. So I think 𝗁ice outscales that pretty easily.
Yeah, I think so. Levi goes on in, forces the Ragnarok. 𝗁𝗏's in a lot of trouble as the Ash Arrow goes wide. 𝗂𝗏𝗺 can't get much done. Realm Warp now, they want to turn around. It's only Yoshino in it. He goes in, he turns on the lightning, and he's putting on a show. They've already got one. 𝗂𝗏's going to answer back with the stolen lightning. Gets one back. It's all a lightning show. But in the end, not much thunder, as it's only a 1-for-1.
And Flash going to get the dragon. They pretty easily won this fight. It's only 1-for-1 in kills, but it's not looking great for the rest of the game, because 𝗁ice is only going to get hit harder. He's only sitting on one completed item right now, and already chunking the backline for 300-400 damage crits with his Q. So imagine that in 10 minutes, where he's level 16, has 2 more items under his belt, and every Q deals like 800 damage. The fight is very different at that point.
Well, let's have a look at this replay.
Yeah, they're trying to catch 𝗁𝗏. 𝗁𝗏's the main target, but DR1 with a skill shot miss.
Everything missed.
Another one
Back off here, I feel.
Yeah, this is Realm Warp. I think this is the reason to go 𝗁ice over Orianna. They wanted to have a delivery system for Yoshino into the backline that's easier than just have the flash, flash, of course, on cannon. I like the flash.
Is that no? That's when you fail a flash. You floshed it.
We need to see that now. The Slater play in mid lane definitely was a flash.
Oh no, we've lost it. Oh boy. Let's flosh back into the game as GAM are making plays around the top side, just trying to pressure out Yoshino. Can they actually catch him? The DR1 ult is certainly suggesting they want to. Yeah, he doesn't have much at all. The charm misses, the orb misses as well, but it doesn't matter. Yoshino kind of trying to turn it around, but he's 1v5, and he will go down to DR1.
This has happened to Yoshino a few times now in this series, and also in the whole split he has been, since he has been in, especially on Cannon. He tends to overextend a little bit. 4 deaths, the highest number in his team. Can they go for the counter punch?
I think they're just escorting Slater out. He was pushing in that mid wave. That Ash Arrow comes in, does land. Levi now with the setup. 𝗂𝗏 comes over the wall. Very nice ultimate from Slater, though. So let's have a look at the other side of the fight, where DR1's getting chunked. He's returned it well. Takes down the set. And the Realm Warp now being ripped, and he manages to get out of there.
Whew, so close.
Yeah, oh, hello, 𝗂𝗏 and Slater having a scrap. This one only goes one way. It's close, but the revolution lives on.
He only won because of the stolen ultimate. That was actually super close in terms of DPS. A DPS check.
Whoa, there's a teleport here. This is Yoshino arriving. 3v5. There's a charm. Goes in straight onto the jungler. But they don't want to go too far.
Oh, Yoshino has flash and ultimate.
There it is. He's only on to 2, though. It's doing a lot of damage. Slay goes down immediately. DR1 takes a lot of damage. There's the counter kill onto Yoshino. And Flash might have overestimated the Pikachu. Oh, the chains land onto 𝗁𝗏 as well. That's an absolute disaster. Ego will be the last one down. And that is Baron for GAM.
That most certainly is Baron for GAM. They have pretty low HP bars. They should be able to do this. Slater too far away. Can they kind of get in range and try to get at least some kills back?
I don't think so. Not with the set ult stolen as well. It denies the entry. There's a face breaker. He's trying to get... What the hell, 𝗁𝗏? That... Okay.
He tried, I guess.
He's certainly...
I'm not sure.
He's just living up to the law. Ooh, 𝗂𝗏! He gets popped! I don't know if that's worth it for Slater, as he flies in and gets a kill, but immediately dies. I guess he took a Baron buff away. Baron buff off an ADC.
He delayed the Baron push a little bit too, because GAM wants to reset here.
This is...
Very, very aggressive from Flash in the last minute.
Yeah.
They kind of lost it a little bit. But I guess they are still kind of fine. The gold lead is quite big now, though. 5k for GAM, finally back in a very dominant position. How did this all start? As you said, they wanted to let Slater escape, and Slater fails to dodge the arrow there. I actually think that was an A click that cost him his life, because he attacked the plant instead of moving towards where the plant was standing. So I think that attack cost him his life.
He got season 10.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So close enough. I think on one more item he wins this duel, but not quite there. And I mean, this contest was. You kind of have to go for the contest here. You don't want to give up the Baron. But the coordination for GAM was very nice, and they were able to go back to Baron, not overchase.
Oh, we come back to live, though. Sorry, Yulwei, I know you like to make points, but 𝗀𝗃𝗃 is under attack. He's trying to turn it around. Can he get another king to slay? He can, but it's not going to be enough, as in comes Slater to get his revenge.
Flying in from somewhere. That's 𝗁𝗃 for you. 𝗁𝗃 now with a kill. 𝗁𝗃 on 3 items. She's very, very strong. Slater can carry this game. And they are on the attack. They don't want to defend their base against Baron. Instead, they are going to make a push on the top side. 2 turrets for 1.
Yeah. Not quite worth it gold-wise, but at least they got something. They're pinging the inhib.
They want to continue this push. And Baron recalls, of course, are very fast. And we see 2. Oh, the Thresh actually cancelled this. And this should be the turret, not the inhibitor, though. Inhibitor is a little... Oh, maybe they want to push for the inhibitor. Nope, I think the turret is good enough.
Yeah, and
so the first team to break an inhibitor turret actually Flash. Not GAM.
Very interesting, Yulwei. Oh, the Ash Arrow. I don't know if they can get close enough in time. Yes, they can. 𝗃𝗏 will have to die. He'll be the one man left behind. Can they recover his body? I don't even think they can. As the rest of Flash now chased, but a good dodge away from Ego. Doesn't matter. He's all good. Or don't do it, Slater. And that is GAM getting a free kill back.
So, GAM didn't break an inhibitor with this Baron. Nice play from Flash to deter them from just going for the normal play standard approach, just push in the lanes and get 1 inhibitor for your Baron. Gold-wise, it's actually still advantageous for GAM. They got 2 turrets and another kill, so growing their gold lead. 8-0-4 Ahri, by the way.
Yeah, I was about to mention the Ahri. Can I say something that's going to make you very upset, though?
Yeah.
He had a 20 stack Dark Seal and sold it.
Oh.
He didn't build the Medjais.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
10. That's not great. I would have loved the Medjais. Ahri, I don't know why she's got this many kills. It really feels like Flash just have forgotten what this champion does. Do you?
Sometimes.
Do you know what she does? Do you know what her Q is called? I do.
I have 𝗀𝗏 or something.
Oh, hang on. You might have a chance to think about it. Is Yoshino and 𝗀𝗃𝗃? Oh, you didn't have much time. It's 𝗀𝗏 of Deception. But we'll have to see if 𝗀𝗃𝗃 gets deceived. Nope, he knows what's up. And Slater. Oh, that's not good. Oh, okay. Never mind. As Ego might have killed him, though, as Slater gets booted. Can he get the counter kill onto 𝗎𝗎𝗏? No, he can't. The ADC goes down, and GAM is looking very, very good.
And that's 40 seconds on Slater. There should be 2 inhibitors for GAM if they play correctly. They sync up the wave in bot lane. Mid lane is still kind of far away and might actually be pushing in Flash's favor. So GAM might... maybe the call is to end the game here, because mid-wave is not going to reach the turret. It's 8 seconds to Yoshino, but still 24 seconds till Slater spawns.
Slater's the big one as well. They're going to charge on forward. They're hitting those towers. Ego flashes away from the hook. 𝗀𝗃𝗃 primes the chains, could have absconded in there. There it is, he's abducted them, and he goes gold. He's just dealt a lot of damage. The charm has landed onto 𝗁𝗃𝗃. This is very, very bad for Flash, and it looks like it doesn't matter how trash your waifu is, you can still get wins in the VCS, as this is going to be Ahri going up to 100% win rate for the split, GAM going on in, improving their KDA, and truly, it doesn't matter how bad your taste is, you can still pick up wins in a professional setting. We will be back in a few minutes, and I know one of our analysts will have a lot to say, but he'll have to wait a few minutes so that we can have a little bit of a break. Don't go anywhere, guys. We hope you are enjoying the show.
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I have a very smug analyst on the desk with me, and that's not talking about Vinny right now. We just saw an Ahri professionally picked, and it got a victory.
Sweet victory!
This is the worst timeline.
Oh, I have to live with him.
Beyond. I am beyond joyous right now. Okay, right. Memes aside, why did this work? Glacial as a rune works really, really well into the composition that they had shown throughout their 5 picks. You're waiting till red pick 5 there, and then you're thinking, okay, so Veigar, Morgana, Cho'Gath, who else really uses JLP?
Neeko.
Not a great amount of people. Neeko, right? But then you think of these people and you think, all of them are less safe than Ahri. If Kennen gets a flank, they don't get out. Ahri with ult, Ahri with charm as well, potentially does. Yeah, maybe Neeko would have been slightly better this game, but I think the follow-up you have, in terms of you have a Lee Sin jumping forwards, Ahri can follow that. Neeko sometimes can't. So actually, in this niche, and as we saw in game, Tier1 did pretty well with it.
And I kind of want to take us actually through this early game in general. That it was pretty damn close for near enough 20 minutes. By the time we hit that 20-minute mark, it was 700 gold that was separating the squad. Take me through some of that early game video. What kept it so damn close?
What kept it really close? It was a lot of the sort of bot lane power. And getting a lot of picks onto 𝗬𝗎love. Poor 𝗬𝗎love just got targeted again and again and again. Yoshino with pretty good flanks and TPs to come in and turn around Levi's plays in the early game. And just small micro decisions, or not really decisions, just happenings, really sort of kept them into the game. Like in that sort of bot jungle skirmish, there was the charm onto Yoshino when they were backing away, and Slay went for the hook, but Ego just stepped in front of him. If that hook had landed onto Yoshino, that's probably another kill over to GAM, and the lead goes even further ahead. As it was, it just meant Slay died. And so the overall play went even.
Okay, and then we kind of hit this point, right, where we were sort of seeing these absolutely bloody skirmishes, and we saw the red invade early, where 𝗏𝗏𝗺 a bit interestingly on the rise. The Ahri jumps overall, gets a catch. It's still a 2 for 2 despite the end of it. The one I do want to catch out, though, is this this fight in mid lane, which was like complete bloodbath, where I believe it went, what was it, 3 for 3, 4 for 4? It was
3
a
for 3
complete mess
overall.
by the time it was done.
Something like that.
I will say Kiaya died as well at the end of it as well, off screen.
Oh, so 3 for 4 overall.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was an absolute mess. We had teleports in, Kennen showing his worth. I think Set in these kind of fights is very high value too. But Ahri escapes, and Kai'Sa walks forward. And in fairness, an auto Q would have killed. Just does it a couple of seconds too late, and does it under turret, and gets charmed. And the turret shot comes through, and then it makes you look a bit like a fool. They do take the turret off of that just before that play, but that really, once you start giving over a lot of free gold to someone that, a champion that inherently needs to snowball to be useful in a game, because Ahri doesn't do much without gold, that was kind of problematic. And all of this, and actually in a very fast region like the VCS, I could potentially see Ahri working as a pick a bit more.
Okay, so some hopeful words from Nightmare.
I'm really hoping. I'm really hoping.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Well, let's just kind of take it as we did say. Crest of the 20-minute mark, it was really even. There was a 3 for 4 we were talking about in mid. 700 gold was all that was separating the squads. And then we saw a sequence of plays that eventually ended up with GAM with Baron. Vinny, it starts with the Kennen getting caught in top. Take me through.
Yeah, so a couple of great picks out of the side of GAM meant that they were able to set up around the Baron and not have to worry about the AoE damage that comes out of Flash's side, especially from the Kennen. And from there, they were able to have very good zoning. Slater was kept completely out of it. So was Ego with the Ash Arrow. I think they started the Baron and then turned and then got a massive kill. And completely wrecked them in the team fight. Great plays from 𝗀𝗃𝗃, able to land those chains onto 𝗂𝗃 at the end to really seal the deal. And then from there, Slater gets a kill back onto 𝗬𝗎𝗺 and trades his life for it, which was a thing. So tried to get something back, didn't do super hard.
We have got a shout out who our player of the game is. I don't think it's a complete surprise, but it will be, of course, 𝗬𝗺 on the RE 9-0-7. Got himself, did a massive amount of work on the RE. Of course, we did kind of debate whether Levi was.
Actually, 𝗀𝗃𝗃 was really good too in those top 1.
Yeah, there was a number of people who had some pretty good shouts, but 9-0-7
worth
on a bit of a
mentioning.
mystery pick.
He's getting those spirit points. He went deathless.
That's cool. He's definitely
13
popping off with the
points.
spirit bond. That's good work. We are, however, into our game 3 deciding match for GAM versus Team Flash. I'm turning around in the last game on the back of some great performances out of 𝗀𝗃𝗃, Levi, and of course 𝗬𝗺's RE. But we're now into this draft. It's GAM back on blue. They've banned away 𝗏𝗏 and Cinder as Renekton away from Team Flash. What else are you expecting? Oh, well, Lucian, I suppose, would be another one that's no surprise. But what else are you expecting?
So the Syndra ban there is there for the RE first picks as a counter matchup? No? Okay.
Facetious commentary aside, continue.
Well, Jace is still available, notable. Jace is still available.
Apparently if you simp hard enough, you can get the pick you want, so Zilean should be coming out.
We all want it.
We all want it.
We all want it. No, so I guess I would never have thought that was the first pick, but 𝗬𝗺's
I
Trist.
guess it is.
Throwing down the gauntlet. We're assuming that's 𝗬𝗺's Trist. There is, of course, a world where it is put in the bot lane, of course. But
Or top lane, right?
the
Trist top was a
assumption
thing
is-
for a while.
Yeah, Trist top was indeed. Sanguine Blade, Trist top. Yeah, no. There is a world where it's flex. We don't necessarily expect it. We know 𝗬𝗺 is the premier player of that carry, frankly, in the VCS, never mind his team. The response is looking like the set. And Palette did have a pretty good go on it. It didn't work out in the end of the game 2,
That's
but
a
it will
strong
be
duo.
synced up with
Yeah.
the Kalista one more time.
So
Okay,
it's
so
looking like
okay, you just locked in Kalista, and Ashe. Kalista does not get to play lane into Ashe.
yeah. Very strong bot lane duo, but pretty much counterpicked bot lane.
Yeah.
Completely. Set struggles into range supports as well. So this is this is rough on the side of
I
Flash,
wonder-
or on the look of things.
Yeah,
Although
I wonder if
you
they lock
ca-
in a jungler right now.
Yeah,
I think
well, the
you could pick a support. Okay,
option-
going for
towards
the
Orianna. And we know, of course, that generally speaking, Tristana into Orianna is a pretty good matchup in favor of
In
Tristana.
the 1v1, yeah.
It worked out well enough the last time. There was the one death towards the Orianna. But
Yeah.
otherwise, my
They
strike
feel
is
they
fight
can-
knocking, taking defensive summon.
Yeah, they feel they can contain the Tristana well enough that you rely on the scaling of the Orianna. I feel like this is a game where you want to put that set into the jungle. Just try and get yourself a slightly better matchup. Maybe Kalista paired up with, I don't know, an Ash.
I mean,
not
Karma's still
Alex,
available. We'll
Karma,
talk about the whole series.
something like that. Yeah, just try and have something that can put that bit extra pressure
Morgana,
into the bot
perhaps?
lane.
I
Unless
think
we
Morg's
see-
only really good with a Kate. Because thing is, though, if Morg loses lane, she really sucks, and Kate makes sure you wins that lane. Whereas Kalista, that's Ashe.
Fiddlesticks
Not
ban.
quite.
Triple AoE AP jugglers just banned away. The Shyvana, of course, is still up. Worth pointing that out. Heard Nightmare kind of saying the Morgana might be a bit of a risk. But what else could you see? I mean, the other thing with set Kalista is even if it's not the best lane matchup versus Ashe Thresh, you do still skirmish very well come level 6. So maybe they're just looking towards those first couple dragon fights.
So what we could see here, if with the removal of Fiddlesticks, Gragas thing, is either the Nidalee takeaway or the Lilia takeaway on the side of
Enough
Flash.
of this. Enough of the trash waifu conversation. It's back to the real fan club of Lilia. That's where we really need to be.
Exactly.
Wait, I thought we were still there. What? Oh, damn.
Oh,
Trash wife's
Alright.
everywhere.
It's
Okay,
gonna,
well,
it's gonna be
hyper
void
gank.
there. Never mind.
Hyper gank. A lot of setup in the bot lane. good ball delivery system. 𝗁𝗺 in general, definitely willing to do a lot of work, particularly out of the jungle. Ego had a fantastic game 1 come mid and late game on the champion. Very nearly got himself a player of the game for that one.
And I would
see what GAM's last 2 picks are there.
I would like to see Malphite. I would not like to see 𝗁𝗁𝗀𝗀𝗺. 𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁 is hot garbage.
I think you're getting it.
Right.
And somewhere in the distance, every day screams in pain.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it does sort of counter the potential Kennen or Wukong that Yoshino might go towards. You can just pull him out of
Kennen
the
is banned.
Kennen is banned, you're right. So actually, it's not even breaking that apart.
So it's going to be the 𝗂𝗏𝗺? Come on, give us Levi. We all want to see it. Okay.
Oh, there it is. Never mind.
It's going to be
Fawn
𝗂𝗏𝗺.
replaced with Dragon. Levi's 𝗂𝗏𝗺 is another one of those pretty famous hard carry AP junglers that he's been going towards. Now got to see what the last pick is for Team Flash. They know what they're going up against. 𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁 does tend to warp Drast a little bit, even if he's not always the single best pick.
This is
out.
still
He's just
double
got
AP
him in,
topside.
yeah.
Okay.
You've lost up. No, okay.
No,
Never mind. Flash really does not. We're seeing a infamous Zerg draft coming out here at the end. So I do actually quite like the 𝗂𝗏𝗺 into the Orianna because you get that distant damage from a distance.
Same with the Callisto too, right?
Orianna can't effectively zone off. So there is that bonus, but yeah, I think Flash are drafted themselves.
Yeah, GAM have really good side lanes this game. Trist is not going to get stopped by any of these champions. 𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁 probably not either. So you're probably going to have a lot of tower pressure from GAM, and of course that's tower pressure with a Trist.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Vinny? Anything else you want to really pull out? Again, it's another one of those front-back skirmish heavy comps from Flash come that mid game, but I think GAM can fight toe-to-toe there this time around.
This time around, I think you have that extra sort of wave clear and ways to deal with it. You also have a bit extra of way to keep them at. You have more ways to keep them at range with the 𝗂𝗏𝗺 poke, whereas your poke in the first game was often the side lane on the Jace.
And also this game, GAM have themselves a front line. You know, the 𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁 is not bad at it, and the 𝗂𝗏𝗺 is not awful either in terms of like more survivable than a Karthus at least.
Yeah. So. And it's a really short range comp on the side of Flash, so they should be able to keep them at arm's length if needed.
I mean, there are a few engage options, of course, of Flash.
Yeah, there is the
All the forward god, there's the 𝗁𝗺𝗺, Fate's Call. There are ways to get in, but I agree, the carries are definitely a little shorter range, and if GAM can keep themselves at range, can definitely look to poke out those carries. On the other hand, if they can find their way onto those 𝗀𝗀 𝗀𝗏𝗺 AD carries, they may have a chance in this game yet. But to take this final game away, prepare yourselves for Everyday and Yulwei, who I'm sure will be just so pleased to have a 𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁 picked again in the VCS.
Hey, you got your main last game, I get mine. I get my big man a medal. Don't think it's a good pick, but when you pick an 𝗚𝗔𝗠 into it, suddenly it becomes pretty good. Doesn't it, Yulwei?
Yep, it does. But every day, today,
yes.
We wanted 3 games. This is our match of the week. It is the match for the match for first place. These 2 teams are by far the 2 best teams in the league. Most likely our finals participants once again. This game is going to decide bragging rights for the next few weeks until the finals hits. So it's a very, very important one. And we have very different drafts from the last 2 games. Another AP jungler for Levi, back to game 1. But an AP top laner, like game 2 for GAM, that's not something we see most of the time. They like to go double AD solo laners and AP jungler, of course.
Yeah.
So
it's very interesting. Could potentially run into damage issues late, but I feel like they're mostly okay. GAM got a lot of comfort in this draft, for sure. Arguably, all of them got close to their best played champion. Ooh, that ward has ruined Ego's life. I don't think there's much that will come of this, though.
No.
𝗂𝗏𝗺𝗁𝗁𝗁 not going to try and rush over there or anything. It's just probably vertical jungling. Oh my god, Paulette! Flashing on forward! They want this! The instant exhaust comes out, as well as 𝗬𝗎𝗺's flash. Oh my god.
And this time around, we actually saw an exhaust against 𝗪𝗪. I think it was the first series today, right? Where
Correct.
𝗪𝗪 was played. And there was no exhaust in the enemy bot lane. Now we saw the value of that summoner spell into 𝗪𝗪. It's such a good way to stop her going. She just can't follow. And that's a flash for flash trade. It's not bad. You still have the Hex flash there.
Exactly. I was about to point that out. Set doesn't care that much about using his flash because he has Hex flash. It's not that big a deal for him. It's a much bigger deal for 𝗬𝗎. Could potentially see Ego moving down there. Okay.
Look at the pings. Levi and Dion. Oh! Okay.
Okay. Look
Never
at the
mind.
pings, you
No
say.
time for that.
Look at the bot lane as they just found Slay. Well, if you're going to pick 𝗪𝗪, this is what to do. Wonder how
I
that's
feel like
done.
for the VCS, we actually need HP bars on the minimap to know what's going on there. We are missing so many crossmap
Ego
kills.
comes forward. He just
Crossmap
flashed. They want Levi. He's going to get slowed by the lightning. No, he jukes away. But that just
Can't
means
win
that he's
this
got
one,
nowhere to go. He's got no chance. And Bear beats Dragon. And Flash are on the warpath.
At this complete domination in the early game. And this is something GAM run into sometimes with their AP junglers. They like to play farming AP junglers that don't have much impact pre-6. Let's look at the bot lane kill first.
Ooh.
Well,
Just a face breaker.
not just a very, very good setup. And for that, he is by far the best support set in our league and played this perfectly. Basically, just nothing much the enemy bot lane can do. I think they disrespected the positioning a little bit. They should be aware of the potential of the Hex Flash, of course, over the wall like this.
Yeah, they're going for it again. Slay getting chunked, but he'll be all right. This bot lane's in a bit of trouble.
So, I want to go back to the jungle point, because this is something we've seen GAM struggling with. If they fall behind early with their AP farm-heavy junglers, they kind of just roll over and die.
Hello. Ego's in the bot lane, but 𝗪𝗺 has to pop the W. The big shield comes in, but 𝗬𝗎𝗺 just gets the kill. That's a huge mistake out of 𝗪𝗺.
He was so confident after the first few plays in the lane. Now he gives one over to 𝗬𝗎𝗺. His ADC hates him for that, because they worked a lot in the early game to get kills, and then he just gives one over to the turret. Very unfortunate. What are we going to see here? So 𝗪𝗺 just gets grabbed. Very good chain CC from Slay. And he still has turret aggro even when pressing his W. He needed to press that one to avoid the turret shot. Then was still in range for the next one. So a little bit unfortunate for 𝗪𝗺 maybe, but also just an overextension there. Yeah. There's no time for me to get my jungle point in, apparently, but I will see.
Try now. We're looking at the top lane. Nothing's going to happen here.
No,
there we
time for
go.
that.
Oh, my word. Why do we have a color caster?
So you don't destroy your voice every single week, I guess.
Yeah, fair point. My vocal cords need it, but you might be able to get your point in now if you're quick about it.
So I'm very curious to see what Levi can do now from behind in this jungle matchup. His lanes are not winning, especially mid lane, surprisingly bad right now for 𝗪𝗺. Analysts talked about this in Game 1 and Game 3 pre-game. This is an advantageous matchup for 𝗪𝗺 on this Tristana into Orianna, but it seems like 𝗁𝗁 does not agree with them, because he has won both of the laning phases so far in this matchup as Orianna. And that's one of the big breaking points in GAM matchups. Can you break 𝗪𝗺? Can you neutralize him or even get an advantage over him? Because then that takes away so much from Levi's potential to snowball the map off the mid lane pressure. That's not the case here. Ego is going to get the first objective. Yeah. And Levi is looking for something in top lane. He's level 5 though.
Yeah, and you're diving an 𝗚𝗔𝗠 with a Mordekaiser and a Shyvana. It's not the greatest setup ever, and Yoshino's not even scared at all. And I was going to say...
It's not going to be a dive. He was just spotting her doing the crux, so that's never going to be a dive there.
It's traded for a Mountain Drake. That's a good one. That's a positive trade for Flash. And this is something that's sort of been in conversation with our community, and that is hello, as the hook lands, well predicted on the Hex Flash. Slay takes a lot of damage. Slater wants to get the kill, and of course he does. And now 𝗬𝗎𝗺's in trouble as Ego has arrived, does not have the flash, but also doesn't need it as 𝗬𝗎𝗺 did not have anything ready. Slater's not even going to come. This is almost just zoning. They go for the Ignite, so they want the kill. Facebreaker into Haymaker, and the Boxing Boys have got the kill. Oh no. Here's 𝗁𝗂, access to Death Realm. 𝗪𝗺 just wants to die, but it. Now he's going to Easy Love. I think you give that to 𝗂𝗃 instead, but oh well.
Oh, deep there. Flash taking a page out of GAM's playbook and diving bot lane between turrets. Maybe the kill on Easy Love wasn't necessary. And once again, 𝗏𝗏 sets up 𝗧𝗏, and 𝗧𝗏's like, wow, this support is really smurfing. He's giving me so many kills, and then he just ints into the enemy ADC, and then 𝗧𝗏 is very, very upset. Look at this. 𝗏𝗏 just played this once again very well. Nice heal from 𝗧𝗏 to keep 𝗏𝗏 healthy. And
I don't think you need to do this, though.
I think this is fine, but you don't chase for the kill. Just chase him off the turret. You already denied a plating. You deny a whole wave of gold and experience. So don't go for the kill. It's tempting. You know you can get the kill with the two big boys diving him, but it's so risky. Also, TP they even had the TP for On, but he doesn't want to commit into the turret.
Oh, never mind. We don't get to talk about players. It's a 1-for-1 in the mid lane. 𝗏𝗏's gonna pull the dragon back. Ego, what the hell with what the?
That was
weird animation there.
I think there was the stream just caught up to the game. Like 1 second was accelerated or something. That was strange. Double flash blown for Flare mid and jungle for GAM. They get 1 kill back, and the kill crucially goes to Levi. Really needs to be accelerated. Sadly, though, the counter kill went over to, I believe, 𝗏𝗏. So yeah, that's a positive trade for GAM. Though DR1 is actually struggling, and if he's struggling on this Tristana, the build path for Tristana is not very good from behind. It relies on extra money compared to the enemy mid laner, and he's not getting that extra money right now. So the very, very expensive itemization is not going to come in for the crucial objectives in the mid game.
Yeah, I mean...
Another one.
I wanted to respond to your point, but I should learn that that's never ever happening, as they're gonna go under tower, they turn it off, 𝗧𝗏 has been slain. It was an attempt by 𝗏𝗏 to get the double face breaker, but couldn't quite manage it out. This is a little bit brutal. In the Death Realm, in the top lane, but Yoshino, I don't even think you needed to flash there. He's a little bit worried, wants to try and get his ram, but comes out of the Death Realm at the wrong time. Yoshino beans this one horribly. There are baked beans all over his shirt. And can they clean him up? Levi charging on in, and yes, the easiest kill he'll ever get.
Yoshino. After all this time, Yoshino.
Very bad, Yoshino.
Definitely.
After all this time. Always.
Always. Oh, God.
Once GAM, always GAM. 𝗏𝗏 evidently does not agree with that, for the record.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was only there for 1 split, though, so...
True. But that's the first brick as well. That was a pretty shocking one out of Yoshino that's had some pretty big consequences.
It's all the gold in the pockets of 𝗂𝗃 and Levi, though, so bot lane is still a big problem, and they have lost 4 platings of their own, might even lose the turret in the bot lane, so gold globally is still in Flash's favor. Now we have to see how they can utilize a fat 𝗧𝗏 against a fat 𝗏𝗏. That's pretty hard to play out, because 𝗧𝗏 doesn't really have the most amount of agency as a champion, can't really make dice work or anything. He's more a 1v1 stat check champion, so let's see.
He's up a lot of gold.
𝗧𝗏 is also not super great with this itemization into 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 is even up on him in gold, so 𝗏𝗏 might win the Death Realm fight if she dodges 1 or 2 abilities.
If she dodges the E, she wins the Death Realm fight. You can catch her. I think this is something I actually say fairly often. I'm sorry to steal your time for color, but it's a 𝗧𝗏 point, and you know I'm a 𝗧𝗏 main. One thing that's important as a 𝗧𝗏 is you have to know who you're death realming. Like, obviously, you have to adapt to it on the fly, but in general, you say, in an ideal situation, I death realm this person. Going Nash's Tooth tells me he wants Ego or Yoshino. It's Ego or Yoshino. Because that's why you go Nash's Tooth first. If he was going to be death realming 𝗏𝗏, it would be
It's 𝗏𝗏.
That's Proto Belt.
Or 𝗏𝗏.
Yeah, I think it's Proto Belt first into 𝗏𝗏.
Yeah, maybe.
This
is a good reset here. That's a hard reset for the whole Flash team. They are fast on the map, so positive tempo for them. They are going to lose at least a few plates in mid lane. It seems like, it's only one. But that is so quick. Wow.
Set.
Yeah, this is set.
That Nimbus Cloak nerf isn't in yet, so...
Yeah, and Nimbus Cloak, of course, applies to this Hex Flash too, so he's always zooming around.
It's quite funny, like, Nimbus Cloak on set is better than the Phase Rush. It's almost.
he has
a
face
major
rush
rune.
too on
I
top
know,
of it. So.
I know. That's the thing. But you'd almost take Nimbus Cloak even if it was a major rune on support set.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So one more plating Flash just grouping in mid lane, and they go
There
for
comes
another
the
dive.
Horn. They get the double knock up. 𝗎𝗍𝗺 taking so much damage. It's going to be the easy kill for Slater. They only turned one tower off, but �YOSHINO brings the bonks and gets that easy kill. He has to deal with an angry dragon, but he's not going to be able to chase for very long. 𝗬𝗺 coming in from the side. He might be dead. The bomb won't do enough damage. There was actually a shutdown on the other side. He is dead. 𝗬𝗺 gets the reset. Going forward, potentially could have committed, but they pull it off. 2-4-2, I think, in the end.
Who are these players, and what have they done to the Flash team? Have we swapped sides or something? The PCs are on the other side. What is going on? So many aggressive dives from Flash. The first game really showed us how Flash was playing the last few weeks. And then suddenly they just completely changed course. And now the 𝗬𝗍, he is very strong. Ego, you need to be careful.
Ooh, 𝗬𝗍, he does not have access to Death Realm. He's dead. Ego needs to be careful, but he just baited him. He got an assist because he dropped the Thunder. Ooh, 𝗬𝗺 nearly died there. That was not very clean. That Mordekaiser took far too long to die.
Yeah, the three tanks attacking the Mordekaiser is not the way to go. They don't have the damage between them to really kill him quickly. And then Mordekaiser is very, very good against tanks, especially on this build. High DPS, the Conqueror stacking, no heal reduction yet. So it was quite hard to kill him. Another Flash blow, I believe.
He gets all 3 kills there, just quietly.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, I don't think they go for that play if he has Death Realm. So let's have a look at a replay.
Some waves. And yeah, this was a little bit of insanity. Nice positioning from �YOSHINO, and they waited for the bot lane to overextend and then went on top of them. Hits both of them with a very nice dive. 𝗺𝗺 still has the Fate's Call, I believe. Yeah, it's still up, so he can dive as long as he wants. And �YOSHINO, a little bit of an unfortunate situation. While 𝗬𝗍 just puts Slater into Death Realm. This is one of the few spots where Slater can actually not out-hop him or go anywhere, because it's just too narrow of a corridor.
Yeah, you can't dodge the Death Grasp there. It is still the replay. Yeah. It's hard to tell sometimes, because we often come out to fights, but that was just the tail end with 𝗬𝗺 getting the kill with the ultimate. And suddenly, the gold has been brought back to even. And we've got a game on our hands. This is what we want. Yeah. We don't want to stomp in any of these games. We want 3 close games. We've had 2 games. Close is maybe not the word, but definitely games. Can we get a good one here? So far.
So, I don't think looking at pure scaling makes a lot of sense in this game. I think we need to see the first team fight and target selection, especially from Flash first, to really get a good judgment of their scaling, of their composition. So next team fight is probably going to be around the dragon in 1.5 minutes. GAM could choose to give it up. It's only Cloud Soul. Some people would argue it's not worth much. I still like Cloud Soul quite a lot, especially against Mordekaiser, more dodging. And it seems like the other objective is eyed by both teams.
So far,
grouping up in mid lane.
Yeah,
good inside track for Flash. They get a lot of damage under the turret here, but GAM wants to do
Slater has to flash away from the arrow. The dragon form comes out as well. Actually, a pretty big cooldown to burn. As Levi, he can't start getting it back until he's out of it. So, kind of needs to start stacking that back up before the dragon fight.
So GAM needs to read this play correctly, because they could have committed for Herald, but I believe if they go for Herald, they lose mid-turret, and that kind of defeats the purpose of Herald. So I like that they backed off of the objective and went to defend their mid lane, because that's more important than that, surely, over there. So Flash actually starting the objective. As you said, Levi is still building up his decks there.
Desperately hitting that Gromp. Rage is the resource.
Rage, right. And he's almost there, so he can go Dragon Form again.
𝗺𝗺 getting caught out there. Does go for the slam into the big haymaker. Slay's already gone down. Ego trying to zone the enemy jungler off, who dives away. That means it is going to be the easy objective secure card. He's in the Death Realm. Ego gets the kill, but 𝗬𝗺 desperately wants to make it happen. He wants to hop. He wants to be the real hopping champion. He's got 2 and he's escaped. Oh, 𝗬𝗺, it's why we love you, we do. And Levi now chasing down onto �YOSHINO, kills the big Forge God. And that is a win for GAM.
Every day, I can't believe what 𝗬𝗺 just did. That was absolute insanity. He jumped, he was on a sliver of health for the whole fight and somehow he survived and carried the whole fight. This will also give Levi access to Dragon. He goes 3 levels down and can't get close to contest this one. It would be the third Dragon. Never mind. Palette still wants to go, and 𝗁𝗃 teleported in.
They don't want to stop this. It's a lot of
though.
damage onto 𝗁𝗏.
Never mind. Yes, ultimate.
It's a very short cooldown. 𝗁𝗏 blows up a tower. Still playing that PvE. And are we going to get Spring Finals 𝗁𝗏 here?
It is looking likely after a very bad early game and we
might have to come back to it as Levi throws himself over the wall. An absolutely massive E, but it's not enough to secure the dragon. He did what he could, but 𝗂𝗏 was not enough.
So where are we going with this replay? Okay, it's the big fight. Palette initiates very nicely and hits a big slow. And then 𝗂𝗏 elects to go for Death Realm against Palette. Palette dodges everything here. And as soon as he's out of the Death Realm, he gets Fates called out as well. So 𝗂𝗏 especially ineffective. I think there was a little bit of a missed shockwave. He actually died before the shockwave animation completed.
Yeah.
So not quite able to kill 𝗂𝗏. That's a split second away from winning the fight. Very hard for Flash. If that shockwave hits, they get 𝗂𝗏. They get to chase 𝗁𝗏 and whoever was living. I think it was 𝗂𝗏 still or Slay, whatever. One of the two. They get all the kills. They clean them up. They get Dragon cleanly. They can get more levels on Ego too. Instead, now it's a 2k gold lead for GAM. They are facing the 3 Dragon, potentially 4 Dragon Snowball for Flash. But in terms of items and gold, they have stabilized and in a very good position right now to win.
It's only a Cloud Drake, right? It's not that big a deal. Obviously, it's quite nice for 𝗁𝗏 and for Set, kind of. But overall, Cloud Drake's not that big for Flash.
Yeah.
GAM would love
it will invalidate 𝗂𝗏 as a champion, because everyone can just dodge around with the 10% extra movement speed.
True. And, but yeah, still, it's not, if it was an Ocean Soul, that would be much, much worse. But speaking of bad, this play onto Ego.
Ego needs to get back into his jungle and farm some camps. He's level 9. He's on the same level as Palette. He is so far
4
behind.
levels down.
Yeah, I think that's an even bigger lead than the 𝗁𝗏 ever had in game 1. So
well, it was a bigger. This is less. In game 1, his CS became irrelevant, but he was still picking up XP. I think he was even levels with the 𝗁𝗏 come mid game. Was miles behind in CS. He was like 120 CS down, but had even levels.
Yeah, but he still got all the experience.
He's 4 levels down. That's a much bigger problem. The CS doesn't matter. It's the experience.
And he's once again skimping his camp, so he's trying to group for the Herald push, which does make sense, but he really needs experience. He's so far behind. You can never go for an objective later on in the game, because there's such a big difference in damage on Smite. The Ego, please take some camps. Yeah, there's one.
Yeah,
a little risky.
Oh, they're going for a fight here. There is the big play forward. That 𝗁𝗏 is going to do a lot as well. They've got 2 kills in this fight. Ego dodges the Death's Grasp. This is fantastic. And GAM are caught on the wrong side of the tracks. Have to find a way to get back to their neighborhood. 𝗂𝗏 wants to get into the Death Realm. There it is. Flash in onto 𝗁𝗏. Can do a lot of damage going around everything. That's a horrible Death's Grasp. Oh, God. Oh, no. My heart goes out to you, 𝗂𝗏, as a Mordekaiser main. I know, normally we don't even have to hit our spells, but that time you really did.
Oh, man. Very ineffective champion so far, even though he's very fat and got the first 3rd gold. We have to look at what Flash can actually get from this fight. They kind of even out the gold lead and get another turret. Ego is still the lowest level of the game. He didn't even participate in many of these kills, and 𝗂𝗏 wants to go for the flank.
There's an arrow coming in as well. It was well immune, but it doesn't matter. Look at all this damage. Yoshino can't move, and GAM does not ever say die. 𝗂𝗏. Sorry, 𝗂𝗏. Did you mean 𝗂𝗏 in 1?
He absolutely is. And that should be Baron here for GAM. They are 3 levels ahead in jungle. 𝗁𝗏. Can 𝗁𝗏 get 𝗂𝗏? Oh, that's big.
Oh, that is big, but Palette can't land the face breaker. The Gunshow will have to wait. Oh, they land a hook, and 𝗁𝗏 is absolutely destroyed. That robot's been disassembled. 𝗃𝗏 uses the Blast Cone as well. Ego, he might go for the Miracle Steal, but look at the smite damage difference. He's not going to have a chance. He gets chunked out, and this should be an easy Baron. 𝗃𝗏 needs to be kind of careful. They jump in, but it was all a bait. He's been baited. He's been tricked. He's been outsmarted. The Baron will be going down teleport far too late. They're not going to go for the 2v5, surely. Oh my god, they actually might. There's the 𝗚𝗔𝗠 𝗘𝘀𝗺, still so low, but not dead. And it doesn't matter how low your health bar gets, as long as it's above 0. And this time, it will remain there. 𝗃𝗏 going through the tower against an Ashe. It's a bold decision, Yulwei. They've got a Fate's Call. They should be able to get something back onto 𝗎𝗔𝗺 as the fists come flying, and the ball gets the kill.
Flash, what has happened to you in this? I think they are intimidated by GAM or something. They are not playing as cleanly as they were in the last series. And even in game 1, they are getting drawn into these weird contests. Just give up the Baron. You made a mistake, okay, fair, but just cut it out there. Cut your losses. Don't chase your losses all the time. It's very sad to see the team falter like this. It's only 3k gold lead, but they stopped the Dragon Snowball, and this is excellent vision play from 𝗃𝗏, just using the time.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. And Yoshino is absolutely useless. I mean, he's just standing there getting shot by 𝗃𝗏 over and over again. This just call it off. Just set up the dragon. Dragon is going to be your soul. You can try, I guess, with 𝗁𝗁, but once this shockwave is done, I think you call off the play here. Instead, 𝗁𝗁 gets cored. 𝗃𝗏 is going to die later on. I think 𝗃𝗏 actually stays alive. Never mind me. But Ego is going to go for the jump over. There's this Glorious Bloom. He could have checked for wards. Instead, he waited way too long. Now he's spotted. Almost gets the kill on 𝗃𝗏.
Gets away on 100 health about 4 times in
once
this
again.
play.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. So now another engage for Yoshino. I guess they get at least 1 kill on the enemy ADC to delay the Baron push, delay the recalls, delay the resets. So this is an okay play, in my opinion, the last part here, where they just chase for the kill. They want both kills, of course, but 𝗃𝗏 smartly enough starts his recall, and 𝗃𝗏 chases them off the play. Very close, very close.
Yeah.
Not sure how he missed this Fate's Call, by the way, but
Yeah,
whatever.
shocking. Not the best, but regardless. Oh, we come back to live, and there is a push in the bot lane. The 𝗚𝗠 is blown once more, but this time the Ram God will find no food.
I mean, yeah, I don't mind this attempt. If you get someone, maybe you get a kill. If not, just regroup, just look for the next. And you actually got Levi's ultimate. He's level 15, so not quite on the 2 rage per second, which is ultimate level 3 for Shyvana. So she's not super fast at regaining her ultimate if she can't hit anything. If she can hit anything, it's very, very quick.
Yeah, it's really not the cooldown to worry about. It's already back up. The Dragon's Descent is definitely very fast.
Yeah, she's basically perma-dragon right now.
Yeah, 𝗃𝗏 charging forward. They use the Fate's Call, but the line appears to be busy.
I think 𝗃𝗏 saved himself there with a good use of the active.
Yep.
𝗃𝗏. Very overextended. Maybe Levi's here.
Sorry, did you say 𝗃𝗏's overextended? I think you meant 𝗁𝗁. Levi, they are turning it around onto him. He goes gold, the big old statue. 𝗃𝗏 trying to zone in the backline, actually doing a ridiculously good job on this set. But 𝗃𝗏 has Yoshino in the back. He has to flash over the wall to try and get away. Ego goes into the big bear form, but it's not going to be enough. The Death Realm comes in. Yoshino can't immune it. He's sitting on the wall of the Death Realm, and he's just going to get bonked to death by the big old mace. 𝗎𝗏 gets the kill as they pop out, and GAM are dominating.
That's not quite time to get the series, but at least 1 inhibitor. I like what 𝗃𝗏 did here, immediately running to mid lane to delay the mid lane wave crashing into his turret. Instead, they are pinging for the base.
They want this.
I think that's flash pinging.
That is flash pings. Yep, that is...
Okay, never mind me. So it's just going to be the 1 inhibitor. I say just, but it's also 4k gold lead. And there's no one who can really deal with 𝗃𝗏 right now. He's going for the crit build, so better late game, especially in team fights where he can just shred through the tanks all the time. He's going to hit his big item power spike, 3rd item IE. Oh yeah, this is... GAM is definitely looking like the favorite right now, but remember, in the final, game 5, they were 5k gold ahead and threw it all away. They had Shyvana.
It's true.
At that time too.
Tristana as well, I think, so...
Yeah, I believe. There was 𝗬𝗏 and Tristana too. Of course, against the 𝗬𝗏, so way easier for the enemy team to catch them out. Especially Levi got caught, I think, 3-4 times to turn the game around for Flash.
I mean, Set kinda does a similar thing to 𝗬𝗏. Bring someone into your team. It's kind of the same. And I gotta say, 𝗃𝗏's been doing... If Flash wins this game, 𝗃𝗏's MVP.
Yeah,
He's
𝗃𝗏
been
has
ridiculous. I don't think Flash will win this game. They're in a pretty dire situation. But 𝗃𝗏 has been crispy clean.
He has been very, very good. Okay, they are setting up another play on 𝗀𝗏. 𝗀𝗏 has to kind of overextend here for experience. He really needs the 𝗀𝗏 items for his team to get a little bit closer in total gold and efficient stats. Because he's still level 13, so no 𝗀𝗏 upgrade for anyone on his team yet. And Flash is in a position where they can't contest for the next dragon, so that's some free stats for everyone on GAM. It's not going to be much of anything, I guess. A little bit of ult cooldown. It's very good for Levi, of course. 5 MR, 5 armor. Very nice to have. But it's time to just defend your base and wait for a mistake for GAM, for Flash. And GAM needs to show us that they can close games cleanly with the next few objectives.
They will be getting this second Drake, of course, as... Bang. That was quick.
Yeah. 𝗬𝗏, 20% extra damage against dragon objectives is quite strong. Oh, very good Zhonya's, but
well
𝗏𝗏 might still die.
He's gone.
Oh no, and that's another inhibitor. There's nothing they can do against this. They shouldn't fight against without 𝗏𝗏. 40 seconds. GAM might even try to pressure the win.
They potentially could. It's very hard to stop them. Levi still has a long time left on this dragon form. You can see the rage regenning. Whips in another E. 𝗃𝗏 gets the movement speed. There's no minions here, buying a lot of time. Do they have the wave clear to survive here? 𝗬𝗏 threatening the side. Anyone who goes near him will get insta-death realmed. Yoshino immune to the hook. In goes 𝗬𝗏. Instantly kills Slater. Oh, 𝗬𝗏 does not want to lose this series. 𝗃𝗏 gets the big shield, trying to find a way out of there. They're doing everything they can. Flash is throwing everything and the kitchen sink at GAM. But now they've got the ball boy. The shockwave is a sombrero. And 𝗁𝗏 misses everything. And GAM will walk it on in. 𝗁𝗏 has to be crying in his seat. But the Nexus is exposed, the Orianna is dead, and the battle for first place went the distance, but GAM take it 2-1. We go straight back to our analyst desk. We hope you enjoyed that. We hope you enjoyed the casting, but we go back to the smart boys to tell us what just happened.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have managed to come back down from whatever place that game took you to. I'm still shocked by the amount of blood I witnessed on the Rift there. It was still GAM that came out on top. But my days, was that game a battle back and forth for so damn long. Am I right, Naim?
Yeah, for the first time, Flash found themselves like a really meaningful early advantage, and it did largely come through that bot lane. Something which right at the start of the series, Vinnie was very definitely saying, look, you can definitely play through bot lane. These guys are really, really good. And we thought, well, okay, while he may have been slated a little bit by the community, he's not a weakness, but this game looked pretty bad at the start of the game for GAM.
Vinny, do you want to walk me through those early minutes with what was going on that put the bot lane of GAM in such dire straits?
I would love to, but my internet actually completely died out, so I missed like the first 15 minutes of that game.
That would be slightly problematic. In that case, Nymera, do come back and tell me about how that early lane went. Sorry, Vinny, I didn't quite realize you were in that position.
So
we talked
the
right
smart
away
boys
from...
say every day.
we talked about how 𝗃𝗏 into Ashe is kind of awkward, and it really didn't seem that way at level 1, level 2. We saw flashes, we saw ignites, and we saw, I believe it was just a 2v2 straight up kill into bot lane a number of times.
Yeah.
We then saw a lot of attention put down from bot lane by the entirety of Flash. They were trying to commit teleports, there were dives around there. There was a very awkward couple of moments, one where 𝗃𝗏 takes an extra turret shot and dies, and then there's the one where you see the teleport from 𝗁𝗏liche coming in to kind of clean up the situation, and 2 people dying under the inner turret. after 𝗧𝗂𝗺𝗃𝗀𝗺 comes down and they just decide, oh crap, we've got to flash away and hopefully get next heat. They don't manage to do that. And yeah, so while it was really good early pressure from the straight 2v2, and 𝗏𝗺 in particular as well, you know, playing that set very, very well. He had something like 6 kills that game on the set support. It just wasn't enough in the end.
Yeah, and I kind of do want to go on from there. For all that Flash found a good early, they caught Shyvana out, put her behind early on as well. 𝗬𝗺 was behind the Orianna in CS, that counter matchup that wasn't working very well early on for 𝗬𝗺. But Flash could not cleanly snowball for their life. There were dives galore in this game. They were dives bot, there were dives between 2 towers, there were dives top lane. And nearly every time it was traded back by GAM, Flash getting drawn into a number of overextensions. And then certain players began to really pop off. It was Levi on the Shyvana, was our player of the series, 𝗬𝗺 on Tristana. Vinny, you definitely saw enough of this to comment. Tell me about 𝗬𝗺's Tristana this game.
Yeah, so this guy was finding really great flanks and outplaying Flash in those fights with them. So the Baron fight, he was able to completely curb stomp the Orianna.
Yep.
So Shockwave was not able to come off. He was able to. There was that mid pick onto Slater and
Yoshino too. There was actually
Yoshino was also caught up in that. And then he was able to find these picks in team fights and just absolutely basically controlled the way the fights played out with basically assassinating prime targets, or towards the end he was just a massive threat and was able to completely shred Yoshino and take him out entirely.
And obviously he had that fantastic Ahri game in the second game too, so well deserved thus far for his player of the series, much to Nightmare's pleasure, I'm sure. And we know credit to GAM in general for punishing Flash in their overextensions, but I do kind of want to turn our eyes to Flash, and I have got to ask, what was going on? We had Flash down as this sort of macro super team in the VCS, and nearly every time they went for a dive, they were getting punished. Even the one where they managed to get the 𝗚𝗺 by the tier 2 in mid, that was when they took too long to back away, and 𝗬𝗺 flanks and gets the kills onto the 𝗚𝗺, onto the 𝗪𝗪ista as well. What was happening to Flash this series? Or this game in particular?
So I wonder whether Flash is crutching very, very hard on Yoshino's cannon, which is superb. When we saw him on 𝗚𝗺, good. Not enough to completely solo out everyone in the team fight like he did do in Game 1, though. And we saw in Game 2, the draft did very well at denying him a lot of the perfect engages, and he still made it close. I think as soon as he went on to 𝗚𝗺, Flash lost themselves a lot of their means to take some miracle team fights against a team like GAM. In fairness, GAM are a team that do not lose team fights versus just any team. So Flash to have taken them to the limit here shows their class, but maybe we've seen their limit.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of just weird sort of plays and stuff which you can't really put down to the cannon crutch, which is actually a decent point, not to discredit entirely. So I think they did just sort of boom a little bit after that game. A lot of
very aggressive plays, I agree.
Yeah, they were very...
And the draft was pretty bad in that last game.
Very aggressive. The draft was... They did not have any right to be that far ahead in terms of draft. So I do think... Yeah, I think Flash just kind of collapsed at the end there. Could be missing the voice of Yijin or CBL from Spring, who was able to keep them into those longer series, but hard to say.
Well, some good thoughts there. Some of it might be on picks, Cannon called out by Nema. Some of it's just on straight play. Too much overaggression, too many overextensions. But either way, that means that GAM now move to first place in the standings here in the VCS.
Also, Analyst Desk beat the casters. We predicted GAM.
Hey.
Yay.
Well done, well done. My analytical boys have beaten the casters. I'm sure there will be enough words spoken.
It's all on the Ahri. Couldn't have done it without
it. All right. Don't encourage
Actually,
it, guys.
legitimately, probably couldn't saying that. But...
Stop. All right, we're moving on. All right.
We mute him.
We've got 1 week left to play. What does this mean for the league? In that GAM have now pretty much secured first place, assuming no upsets next week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all but locked. I will have to quickly have a gander at who the matches are.
I can tell you who they're playing next week if you want to know. GAM will be playing Team Secret and Cerberus. So they've got 3 and 4. It's not over yet, but it's a good place to be in.
Yeah, it's a good place to be in with Secret's form with Secret kind of slumping, and I mean Cerberus looked really good today, but overall are still in a slump, and I mean GAM did pretty much put them in the place first time around. They should end this with 12 series wins. So they should be comfortably first. Flash, I mean, it only takes one loss on the side of GAM for Flash to catch up.
Flash have an easier week next week. They've got OPG, of course, and Team Secret themselves. So, there is a world where maybe, say, Cerberus on a bit of a resurgence manage to drop GAM and Flash then get a tiebreaker because of the game loss there. If they can go to Flash themselves and go 2-0 next week. So maybe a bit of a world where that happens. Who knows?
But either way, these guys going in top 2, and I think they're quite a decided top 2. If I'm being honest here, I think that Cerberus were against Percent, and Percent didn't show me a lot this series today. So I'm thinking, okay, looking towards playoffs, this could very well be your 2 teams going to Worlds, and then you have to view them in a very different lens, and you think, okay, right, there are high expectations of these guys now.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, at this point, the upper bracket is entirely locked, and
you know who's playing.
And it doesn't really matter what position they come from here on out. So we could just see teams try and hide strats or just play to get those matchups, the matchups they want. It's hard to say.
Okay. Well, some food for thought there. Upper bracket is locked. GAM take first place. And maybe a conversation for next week for you VCS boys and girls will be, what do you think about Flash and GAM's chances? They look to try and find their way to Worlds as VCS's representatives. But from myself, from Nymera, from Vinnie, and of course every day on Yulwei who we're throwing the cast out this week, we bid you good night, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are in the globe. We'll see you next